Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Grab a cold one, crank up the volume, and join the show. Welcome to NBNR Live. And here we go.
It's no block, no rock.
Back.
There it is.
All right.
Boom.
How close do I need this mic? Am I too close?
No, that's good.
You
It's
sound
fine.
great.
You know, everybody's mic is different, right?
Yeah. I kiss it.
You don't want to.
We sanitize them once a year, so
Oh, that's plenty.
if you want to get really close, it's fine.
Yeah, like if you're, I used to sing, and
Yeah.
like on a singing mic, you have to like eat it.
Yeah.
You have to like be in the mic needs to be inside you.
What kind of music did you sing?
So this is gonna be very surprising to all of you. I sang in church bands, like in like worship stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Lord.
Were you? Hold on. Were you the lead, or were you?
Like I would lead sing. I can't play guitar or anything though, so I would have to
Yeah.
have somebody else do the instrumentals. But yeah,
You're at a bar. You're feeling yourself a little bit.
karaoke.
Mhm.
Oh, you know,
What is it?
it's gonna be Creed. Am I wrong?
So that's not my go-to karaoke song.
Oh.
I do love Creed.
I know that.
Everybody knows that.
Walking in Memphis.
Okay,
That's my go-to.
I feel that.
Yeah. It's in a nice register that you can be a little drunk and your voice not be in tip-top shape and still nail it. Like that's important. You can't listen, you've got to be tuned in and not too drunk to get some of like the higher notes and stuff on different songs.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful with your song selection. I'll also do Suspicious Minds by Elvis.
Banger.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I have to ask.
Shout out to Grandma Jackie, big Elvis fan.
Scale of 1 to 10. How much do you hate me? My go-to karaoke song is "Rockstar" by Nickelback. That's not a joke. I'm not joking in the slightest. That is every single time.
How does that song go?
We all just want to be big rock stars. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna start from the beginning.
I was
I'm
waiting
through
for
standing
Connor
lines
to-
for clubs I'll never get in. I was gonna start from the very beginning, but we don't need a 4-minute segment of me singing off key.
No, listen, this is unpopular. I don't like Nickelback in general. There's like 2 of their songs I'm okay with, and that's one of them.
Okay, what's the other? Is it
How you
Photograph?
remind me?
Oh, dude.
How you remind me is a banger. Like it was.
Look at this graph.
But okay, Photograph is a good song too.
Photograph sucks.
Animals. You've heard Animals.
I don't know if I've heard Animals, but
Yeah,
Photograph
You have.
sucks.
Animals sucks.
I think Nickelback gets too much hate.
So,
I agree.
How You Remind Me is a banger. I'm just gonna. I'll die on that hill. There's a reason they became popular, and it's because it's How You Remind Me.
It's because they produce bangers day in and day out.
And then Rockstar kind of slaps. It kind of slaps.
How about, have you heard This Afternoon?
No.
You should.
I don't know if I have.
Also another banger.
I will say
I'm
sometimes I get a little defensive that people will always lump Nickelback and Creed
I
together,
was just gonna say that.
and they're not the same. It's okay to like either of them. They're different.
Do you see who Creed is going on tour with into Lincoln?
Last night it was like Daughtry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Daughtry guy, but I will be attending.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Will
I
be
believe
attending.
that.
I went to Stir Concert Cove when they were here this summer.
I heard it sucked.
No, it was phenomenal.
Okay, it wasn't bad.
Was it raining?
No.
Damn.
Kyle told me
Yeah.
that when you guys went to Creed in Stir, it was bad, and I shouldn't go to the one in Lincoln.
He wasn't there. Kyle wasn't
That's
there.
that's what he told me. So
Kyle.
I'm glad I got it from the source. now.
Hey,
I went with Brandon,
Yeah,
our
I
other
heard.
coworker. Kyle was a little bitch and didn't show up.
Oh, see
so this is
how the turntables.
So
This
I will
is-
say the opening acts were not good.
Okay,
And
This-
like it was Finger 11, which has one good song.
yeah,
Yeah.
that song.
And then, but Creed was good. Creed was good.
this is another a great point to talk about. Kyle wasn't at the Creed concert. Where is Kyle not right now?
Okay, yes. So for those of you, if you're wondering what's going on, one, we haven't even like started the show. We're just over here talking about the songbird of our generation, which is Ravi Lula. Welcome to the show. Kyle is he's working on a documentary for the Oklahoma State softball team, and
Pokes!
so he is traveling for Herd at Sports right now. So there will be some episodes where he will not be in attendance, and it will just be us three. and if we have a guest. So now us 4.
How many people just left?
We gained one since I said that. So
We do miss you, Kyle.
I'm actually just going to fill in. I'm Dark Kyle.
yeah.
Indian Kyle.
Very nice.
Okay.
Borat Kyle. I don't know.
Listen,
Kyle would have
Mike,
said
be
it
careful.
like that too.
Mike,
Borat's still quite white.
Mike, you cannot lump different ethnicities together just willy-nilly.
It's like Borat, Indian guy. Eh.
Can't do that, Mike.
There it is. Yeah.
All right, let's get this. Let's get
You
this
want
show
to?
rolling.
Are you sure?
Yes, let's
Yeah,
do it.
Let's start the episode.
All right. Go Big Red indeed. No Block, No Rock. Episode 218 coming at you from the NBNR studio. Now, I got myself Nebraska Brewing Company's newest concoction. Yeah, it's their newest one.
Yeah. Well, technically, yeah.
I don't know if you can zoom with that fancy camera.
No, I can't do that.
It's a coffee stout. Stories from Nebraska coffee stout.
Mm.
Listen, I drink coffee all day. Like I literally probably just it's unhealthy and like my heart is going to explode from how much coffee I drink.
Yeah, we're hoping.
Low key,
Wait.
me too.
Mike, hold on.
Um,
Who do you think drinks more stimulants, teachers or culinary people?
Oh, culinary. I've worked with teachers. I've worked with culinary people. It's easily the
Can I tell
culinary
you what my
industry.
wife used to do when she worked on the hotline?
Go for it.
She would mix pre-workout
Yo.
with Red Bull Tall Boys. Just shake that thing up and just down them. She'd do that a couple times a day.
Does she have a pulse? Like,
As she's still alive, to my knowledge. Otherwise, she's a very convincing zombie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like culinary people are. I don't know anybody that like maybe drinks more than culinary people and teachers.
Yeah.
and you're talking coffee, or
Coffee,
alcohol?
yeah, just
All of
coffee,
it. All
totally.
of it.
No, actually,
dude.
so again, even on the alcohol side,
Yeah, teachers go hard.
I'm going to agree with him on that too.
Yeah.
Well, if they had to deal with people like you, students like you, I would drink a lot too, buddy.
I was a great student, actually.
I was a terrible student.
I know
don't
it's
mind.
really surprising, but I also was not a good student.
I'm
I-
stunned.
I know for a fact that my 7th grade algebra teacher, shout out Miss Bromer, I know you're watching.
Oh, we're naming names. Yes, yes.
Yes.
And then my 8th grade algebra teacher, Mr.
Wait, so
Colson,
they had to take it twice.
both watch. No, it was 2 levels of algebra. Thank you.
2 levels, Robbie. I
2
swear.
levels. Algebra 1, algebra 2. I know they both watch the show, and honestly, they might I'd be shocked if they don't hit the comments that say I didn't make them drink. I was such a prick.
What school system were you in?
Louisville Public.
Well, that checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll just say, like,
They were great teachers.
They
by the way.
taught us all of our algebra in 1 year in Millard, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I also went to Millard, so there is that.
I've attended a handful of like little after parties. Once school gets out,
Like after conferences.
after
conferences, people
conferences.
go hard.
and after once summer hits, man, we go hard, man.
Jared, I was drinking with one of your teacher buddies the other day.
You were,
Yeah.
and you had to babysit him. Yes,
No.
No?
He was a delight.
he had to babysit you, or what?
No.
How'd it go? He didn't take his shirt off or nothing like that. Nothing crazy.
I didn't say that. I said he was a delight.
He is a
had good time.
delight.
And the
We-
delight started when the shirt removed.
Yeah. We ended up at the same bachelor party,
Okay.
and I was, meeting, the friends of the groom, because it is my fiance's cousin, and I hear the words, "Hey, no block, no rock." And I was like,
Nice.
"Oh shit."
We hear that a
Nice.
lot, Robbie.
Yeah.
Well, Jared does.
A
Jared
lot.
is a local celebrity. He gets
Kind of
tackled by
Relax.
people in the grocery store at this point.
Kind
So
of
many-
a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yes.
So many groupies, dude.
Um,
Like, get off of me.
That's why you get into the local football podcast game, right? It's
yeah,
for-
exactly.
it's for the
That's
women.
why we did it. That is why.
it's totally working. Totally. I swear it's working.
Connor, what are you
Connor,
drinking?
what are you drinking?
I'm drinking the Pilsner. You all know I
God
am.
dang
I
it.
will tell you. I did, because it got retapped today. I did have a Stories from Nebraska earlier today. It is a phenomenal beer. I'm not the biggest coffee guy. I don't drink coffee in the mornings. I'm a big Coca-Cola guy. I had to say
Add the
Coca-Cola.
cola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Concerning if I don't. But I did have a Stories from Nebraska earlier. It's phenomenal. I like the taste of coffee. I just can't deal with the caffeine. So Both are winners. And you already assumed. I
Big
was drinking Pilsner.
decaf guy. Yeah?
I'm not a commie.
Some would say
I don't
differently.
know.
All right, I am drinking in honor of Kyle not being here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drink the EOS Hefeweizen. One, because it's the best beer at Nebraska.
You were going
Brewing
to
Company.
drink it anyway.
No, I would have drank the stories, but I wanted to drink this for Kyle. And guess
For
what?
Kyle.
This isn't going to last much longer, so I will grab a stories after this. But the EOS Hefeweizen is the best beer at Nebraska Brewing Company, and this is Kyle's favorite beer, and I'm in Kyle's seat. So, cheers to Kyle.
To Kyle.
To Kyle.
Robbie, what are you cheering? What are you cheersing? What you
I'm
got there?
I'm also rocking the pills.
Yeah.
We're rocking the Nebraska pills. I wanted an easy drinker, because I thought we might get through a couple during the pod. So
There's a good chance.
There is a yes.
That's
there's a
why I
high
didn't go with the
probable.
coffee because sometimes the coffee's more of like a one and done in terms of a beer.
It's actually low
I
in-
haven't had that one.
It's low in alcohol.
No, I don't mean the alcohol, just like the kind of like
Oh,
the
yeah,
flavors
just-
and stuff.
yeah,
It's
for
a little
sure.
heavier. I'll usually go with like a lager or a pills if I'm having more than a couple.
Yeah.
So went the pills today.
Hell yeah.
One down.
I would recommend the EOS next.
Some people would say if you listen to the show religiously, they might say I'm addicted to pills.
Yeah,
The beer.
nerves.
Yeah, the
Nerves.
pills nerves.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the cola. It's the second half of the word's important.
Incredibly.
Here's the thing about Connor. He's gonna, and you know this.
Yeah.
He's gonna drop little nuggets here and there that totally reveal just how much of a
Degenerate.
degen. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I think
You big Letterkenny guy, the D-gens.
Yeah.
That's probably where I first heard it. Yeah.
Well, I think it was not last week. I missed last week. I missed you guys.
Oh,
but
thanks.
Yeah, we
not-
missed you.
Not Mike. The week prior, we had Jacob Bigelow on, and every time I would drop those little jokes, he would just stare at me. He's like, "I'm learning too much about you."
Yeah,
did.
he was freaked out.
I feel like he was trying to figure out if you're actually a drug addict or not.
I want to be clear for the cameras. I am not a drug addict. I would say
Are
enthusiast.
you winking?
No.
I'm
I-
kidding. That's just for beer. I'm a beer enthusiast.
I think that you are a beer and a
Normally I prefer backdoor.
Oh,
I
a
didn't.
backdoor
I
enthusiast.
did not say normally. You can't drop that out of nowhere.
I can't because I'm running the
dude,
buttons today.
he's on the ones and twos tonight.
That's some bullshit.
Hey, he's got a. Look at him. Look at him. He's the captain now.
I'm the captain.
That's,
Hold on, do it with the
some
accent.
bullshit.
Do it with the accent.
Oh, with the Borat accent?
No, with
No, I don't think you want to do that. No, I don't think you should do that.
Never mind.
The Somali.
Do not. I was going to say, do not do the Somalian
The
accent.
Somali pirate is not from the same country as Borat.
I didn't say it was from Kazakhstan, but he said do the accent. And my accent that I do often is Borat. Even no matter what you're talking about, I do Borat.
Anybody with an accent is Borat.
Everybody is Borat.
Even when he's impersonating a white guy, it's still Borat. It's like, bro, you can't.
That might be the
Jeez.
most progressive thing I've ever heard.
I'm just here.
Honestly, it
I'm
might
here to
be.
please all the people with
Yeah, it
all
might
the
be.
Borat.
Truly doesn't see color. He
my
just
God.
sees Borat.
Very nice.
Okay.
Cannot afford.
No,
This is a Husker pod,
here's-
right?
So you say it's a Husker pod, okay? But I have a question for Ravi.
All right.
Are you prepared to purchase an Aaron Rodgers 49ers jersey?
No.
Let's
Oh.
go.
There is a
Or, I mean, I'm sorry,
Oh.
a jersey maybe.
no. Listen, I'll make a bet with you right here. Okay. I don't know what steaks you would like.
I like steaks.
Like spelled differently, bud.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
You went to Millard South, didn't you?
I did.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I will make a bet here that there is no way that Aaron Rodgers ever takes a snap for the 49ers.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Well,
yeah,
it's not
that's
gonna
not the
happen.
debate
So,
here.
No.
Hold on.
No, that is really the debate. I did have a
That's
new
where
one
the
for you
debate
though.
started.
Okay,
That's
no-
where the
well-
debate started.
Fair.
Hold on.
No, the
Is
debate started is one, I know that you're a 49ers fan.
Yes.
And two, just knowing you, I know you wouldn't like Aaron Rodgers as a person.
no, I hate it.
Yeah. So
He's a
so
dork.
I can mix
He's a
the
dork.
two and instantly jab at you from the chat. And it's so awesome because I can just say whatever I want in there. And it's funny that DB and yourself, you actually read them. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah,
So
you can derail the show in a
I did.
hurry.
I derailed it quick.
Not as quick as Game Dog did today, but
Yeah.
but you can derail the show in a hurry.
No. Now my new one though
Okay. What do we got?
is what would you say if the Rams traded Matt Stafford for Brock Purdy?
Ooh,
Oh, that's
that's
Do
interesting.
you like Matt Stafford? I know DB loves Matt
That's
Stafford.
interesting. I love Matt
Eh,
Stafford too.
Do you like Matt Stafford for 1 to 2 years more than potentially paying Purdy 5 years, $75 million, or whatever crazy number he's going to get. It's going to be insane. It's going to be like a T-Law thing, and we don't need to get into that, but it's going to be something where it's like probably not warranted, but it's the market.
So, yeah, it depends on what you mean by warranted. First of all, I want to say that I do love Brock Purdy. I think he's very good. I think the weird hate for him doesn't make any sense. I think
he's all right. He's
Did-
fine.
Did Mike tell you he tried to get me on his side?
I
the
did.
day
No,
that you had that argument?
I just asked because I wanted another opinion. And
Yeah.
you're a heavily opinionated person.
And what did I tell you?
You
That
said
if I was a GM,
you also hate Aaron Rodgers as a human, though.
well, but yeah, I said if I was a GM, who was I taking?
If you were a GM, you were thinking longevity, though.
Yes,
That's part of
Yeah.
it. And that's
Yeah,
part
but
of it.
I was saying one season.
So for
But I told
even
you I
for
was
one
taking
season.
Purdy.
So here's the problem with Aaron Rodgers, like in general. I know we moved to Stafford, but like the problem with Aaron Rodgers is he also is a bad teammate from what we can tell.
Mike, did I not use the words locker room cancer?
Yeah, like he's a cancer. So that matters too. Even if he's equal at this point in his career or even a little better than some other guys, the fact that he just seems like the worst to be around matters a lot.
I would agree with that.
Like that matters a lot.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers, the person's a good player, but I think if you put Aaron Rodgers with the Kyle Shanahan brain, and not to mention Aaron's from California, it'd be kind of like his last hurrah going back home. I think he would succeed because every quarterback succeeds with Kyle Shanahan.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Not Trey Lance.
Well, you didn't really get to see it because he got
Fair.
hurt.
Mike,
So
yeah,
I think Trey Lance probably would have been successful.
I actually agree.
Yeah.
Mike, I agree with you that if you gave Kyle Shanahan Aaron Rodgers 5 years ago, yeah, that's a killer
So
team.
I actually wanted this. If you want to go back about, well, I think it's 4 years now. When they drafted Trey Lance, there was a lot of rumors that they were going to trade for Aaron Rodgers with that pick. I was 100% on board.
I bet you were.
That was
I bet you
well
were.
before we learned about everything else.
You
and like
learned about him, going in a dark space for 3
just
months.
being a freaking weirdo.
He's a little weird. He's a weird guy.
He's a big weirdo, and like seems like not that many people like him. So
He's not likable.
No, he
I don't
seems
like him. I
super
just think
unlikable.
I think even right now, I think Aaron Rodgers has more arm talent than Brock Purdy has. Especially with Brock Purdy hurting his elbow again
that's fine.
at the end of the season.
I'm not going to fight you on the arm talent. I will fight you on whether or not that leads to wins. Like
I don't know.
think-
Aaron Rodgers won a lot of games.
not
No.
this year.
Not this year.
yes.
Okay,
Hey,
Talk about
You-
the Jets, Mike. Talk about the Jets.
Put him on the most poverty franchise in the NFL.
No, hold on.
he put himself there.
Hold on. That's a good roster, though.
I'm
The
not.
Jets roster is good.
I'm not disagreeing with that. They have
It's
all
a
the talent
poverty
around him,
franchise.
but their
that's a
O line
good roster.
is trash. Their defense was not great.
So secretly, the 49ers O-line not great either.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree
So
with that.
like, I don't know how much that would help in this scenario.
But I think the Shanahan thing would help too because
Sure.
it's quick plays, quick hitters, and so many freaking weapons.
So
but
another
hard pass
thing,
on Aaron Rodgers forever.
and
Forever.
I can tell. I don't know if you guys are big Vegas guys. I follow, and actually had a very extensive conversation about this today. The Niners are no longer like favorites to land Rodgers.
No,
It's the Rams.
yeah, no, I can
so
see it.
the other rumor, and I'm praying this doesn't happen because if you watch the show, if you've heard me talk about it, I am a Colts fan.
Mhm.
And
You're
so-
getting A-Rod.
no, God no, God no.
He loves
I'll light myself on fire.
He loves Colts.
I don't know where to go with that. But I have heard Stafford wants about 55, and the
That's
rumor that I have
Aggressive
heard
number.
in a very aggressive number.
But if it's 1 year, would you care?
Stafford,
Not as much.
I wouldn't care.
No, not Rodgers. Stafford.
No, 100%.
I
but
give Stafford 55 before I gave Rodgers 55.
well,
I would
Rodgers
give-
ain't getting
right-
55.
He'd be lucky to get
Rodgers.
5.
Yeah.
Rodgers right now, like the absolute max I'm looking at is like a 24 to 26.
Oh, I'm
Like
not giving him that.
for a 1 year. Like that's the absolute
Lot.
max.
That's a lot.
But I'm
0%
hearing
chance.
He'll get paid more than that. But
right now
It's the market, right? It's the market.
The Rams are plus 150 to land Rodgers. The Rams are not going to pay Stafford 55. That's
No.
not going to happen.
No.
And I'm hearing Tennessee for Staff. And I don't want that because I hate the Titans.
Also, that's
Mm.
not a good roster. I don't know how much that helps him.
no, he needs a perfect
it-
situation to walk
Like,
off
he
in the
actually
sunset.
would make sense. Like, I would argue the Giants were talking about Stafford earlier. That makes more sense to
way
me
more.
because that's a pretty decent roster with a really bad quarterback situation.
Yeah,
Bad
like-
O-line, though.
Even or Cleveland would be a really good situation. Like, Cleveland's a pretty
Well,
good roster.
Good O-line.
I'm
Yeah.
Cleveland currently, because I was watching too much Mel Kiper today, slated to go take Cam Ward.
Yeah, I don't.
And
Yeah.
What,
He's growing on
actually-
you though.
He
He's
is.
growing on you.
I have
Yes.
been a Cam Ward believer.
Mostly because he was shit talking Shador, which I loved.
I actually, like,
hate
as
Shador.
as a Colts fan, have begged, like, Chris Ballard, to be clear, just an absolute pussy as a GM, has never made any significant moves.
Hey, he went out on a limb and drafted Anthony Richardson higher than any
That's a
human should.
big limb.
So
That's the
I-
biggest limb I've ever heard.
I
Connor.
was able to convince myself that the Anthony Richardson pick was what we needed.
That's adorable.
I was able to do that. I was
So you gaslit yourself?
yes, 100%.
Beautiful.
And I've also, it's called lamplighting, right?
He's
No,
doing it
When
again.
you do it to yourself?
Yeah, no, I'm just gaslighting.
He's gaslighting you again.
Yeah.
You dick.
But no, I was.
Look at Mike getting another round
Yeah,
for
thank
us.
you. I was
King.
able to convince myself
Okay.
that Anthony Richardson was a good pick. And this year I
wasn't.
was begging. I think he would be great if we got a true quarterback and we kept him on the roster as a running back, tight end, like Wildcat style guy. But Cam Ward, I genuinely believe is going to be the best quarterback out of this draft. I don't think there's
but
really
that's
an
like saying
argument.
Kenny Pickett's the best quarterback out of his draft.
Well, you think Shador is not going to win like 45
Ooh.
Super Bowls or something?
I do not.
No.
This is a bad. Listen, there's a chance that both
This
of those
is-
guys could be good. This is not a good quarterback draft.
This was, in my opinion, probably one of the worst quarterback classes in like the last 6 years.
Yeah, it's
I agree with
second
that.
only to the Kenny Pickett, Malik
Yeah.
Willis draft. That's it.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
And dude, I mean, the thing about being number one draft pick as a quarterback, there's a reason why you are the number one pick. It's because the people
Because the
in
team
that
sucks.
team, they suck.
Yeah.
And like, it's tough, man. When you go in there as a year one quarterback, you're thrown in the fire.
Mhm.
And I get that's part of the process. I get, nowadays people just don't have the patience.
I mean, look at Bryce Young.
I mean,
I
Like,
still
Bryce
think
Young
Bryce
put-
Young is a baller.
I
Bryce-
think
yes,
he
he's-
could be
he's
in the
good.
right
I mean-
situation. I think he could be.
Bryce
but
Young,
Carolina is a
Poverty franchise.
franchise. Yeah.
I mean, it is the poverty franchise.
they are
If we're
the gold standard
Let's
of
show
poverty.
some respect.
And
Let's
we
show
know the
some respect
Browns.
to the Jets as a poverty
Thank you.
franchise.
That's
Yeah.
why I think Aaron would work in a different situation. Just saying.
What if
But I think Matt Stafford right now,
Aaron Rodgers is just a poverty human being?
they can be the same thing.
Fair.
They can be the same thing. I'm just telling
But
you.
to answer your original question, Matt Stafford for 2 years or Brock Purdy for, let's say, $50 million a year for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like 5 years, 250. That's like
Yeah.
a reasonable deal that he could get. I probably, because of the rest of the 49ers roster, I think their window's like this year and next year tops.
Mm.
Right.
So I'd probably go Stafford.
Okay.
Wait, hold
See,
on.
That was fun. See, I was going to bring it in the chat today, but you guys were talking too much basketball. So I was like, eh.
E-ball.
I want to ask you because you said 5 years, 250 for Brock Purdy.
I think he could get that, yes.
Do you think that's like a reasonable? I was thinking more like 35 to 38 a year for
He's
Brock Purdy.
probably going to get at least 40 minimum. I think that's if he'll get 40 if he gives the 49ers a deal. Listen, look at some of the contracts that these other guys have gotten.
Yeah, but those other guys are getting those contracts because they're worth it. Like,
No, they're
I'm
not.
I'm not saying-
Jordan Love wasn't worth it. Jordan Love had 8 good games.
T-Law was worth it though.
No, he wasn't. Like, as talented as Trevor Lawrence is, he was not worth $55
But
million.
that's also a
No,
poverty
so-
franchise. If you put T-Law on a lot of other rosters, I think
No,
he
hold
is
on.
going to
A
be
lot
really
better.
good. He's
Yeah.
going to be really good.
He's talking
That's why I
about
kind of want the
contract value.
Steelers to trade for him.
Oh,
'cause
I would love
Contract-
that. I bet
contracts.
DB would love that too.
But
I know.
so I will tell you that Jordan Love's ceiling, and I will die on this hill. Jordan Love's ceiling is higher than Brock Purdy's.
that's fine, but you're
So-
paying for something you haven't seen yet. With Brock Purdy, you're paying for a guy that made a Super Bowl appearance. You're paying for a guy you've seen the production. You've seen the production.
he was on a roster.
No,
that
go look at his numbers in the Super Bowl.
He had good numbers
That-
that year.
I'm
He
aware.
balled out. Like
Yes.
he balled out. Like
Yes.
that dude has way more production going into his contract negotiation.
What's the yak on
the-
that game look like?
Almost any. I don't have it off the top of my head. It's been like
it's
2 years.
it's pretty nasty.
That's fine.
It's a whole lot of yak.
That's fine. Like, what do you want to get on
Hey.
Drew Brees for his yak? Like, that dude threw
That's the king of yak.
that dude threw 4 yards out his entire career, and guess what? Everybody would have paid him.
I'm just saying, like, I don't see Brock Purdy as a $40 to $50 million guy. I would see it close to.
No, you
Again,
know who,
like I'm a $38
hold
million
on.
a year.
You
guy
want to
for
know who
Brock
40 and $50 million guys are off the top of my head? Kyler Murray, 46 a year.
Oh.
Dak Prescott, 46 a year.
That's a mess.
Jerry Jones doesn't know how to manage a team.
Okay, that's what. Kirk Cousins, 45 a year.
Well, he's cut. So
Right, but that was the contract that he signed.
Yeah.
Was it the most recent?
That was his most recent when he went to Atlanta was $45 a year.
Yep.
Overpaid.
Trevor Lawrence, 55. No, if that's the market, you're not overpaid. That's the market.
It's just the market.
The market.
I get the market is absurd, but that's what it is. This is why I was making the argument a couple weeks ago that you shouldn't pay quarterbacks. Go get a Sam Darnold or go try and reclaim a Justin Fields or whoever else. Get like 2-3 guys in camp, have like an honest to God quarterback competition with a bunch of guys you're playing $5 to $10 million a year. And then I laid out how many awesome football players you can buy for $60 million a year. It was like 2 starting tackles, or no, it was 2 starting guards and a starting center in the top 10 in the league. It was Myles Garrett, and then it was the best running back in the league.
Jonathan Taylor's not a free agent.
No, it was Saquon Barkley. It was Saquon Barkley money. You could have paid Saquon Barkley what the Eagles did, and anybody else could have this year. Or you could pay Derrick Henry $3 million less than that, which anybody could have had him. You could have done all that, and then I think I threw a receiver in there as well for exactly what Dallas is paying Dak Prescott. My point is that's the market for quarterbacks, and you're nuts if you pay it.
I agree.
But somebody's going to pay Brock Purdy $40 or $45 million a year, whether it's the 49ers or somebody else. That's happening.
I think, and Mike, the fridge is open. That's what I was pointing at.
That's what you're pointing at.
I think your point, Ravi.
I thought there was like a gremlin.
I think your point is even more illustrated by the fact that you have Brock Purdy that is being talked about with these astronomical numbers. And why? Because he had a pretty solid year, because he had a lot of guys around him. When you can surround are we going to call him an average quarterback? Is that what we're going to do? Is that okay?
That's what I would call him.
Yeah.
I don't think Robbie would call him that.
No, I think that's blasphemy. I do. And listen, I don't think
he's average.
Physically, he might be average. I don't think we're giving enough credit to the way he processes a football game, because that's actually where he's impressive.
I'm willing to call
Shanahan factor.
Brock Purdy slightly above average.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Slightly.
I know we're going to do context with all these with Brock Purdy here. Look at every great quarterback ever. Look at all of them.
Okay.
Pick any great quarterback ever.
Montaigne.
Jerry friggin' Rice.
And
Bill Walsh.
That helped.
John Taylor.
Sure.
Like,
I'm not arguing.
Do it with every great quarterback ever. That's
absolutely.
my point.
Yeah, I mean, I could say Peyton Manning, and you're going to have 4 of them too. So it doesn't matter.
No, but that's the point, right? Is and it's a really good point with Trevor Lawrence. You put Trevor Lawrence.
Find me a one. Find me a one on his team. This year, he finally got one, and he got hurt.
You put Trevor Lawrence in a functional football position, and his career looks a lot different. I'll make the argument with David Carr. David Carr was put in maybe the worst franchise situation ever. I think David Carr in a different situation is a good quarterback.
Maybe.
We saw it with Alex Smith. Alex Smith went through 4 head coaches and like 8 coordinators in his first 8 years. He went to Kansas City. He wins a division with Andy Reid almost immediately. Like that's a guy that contextually can be a good quarterback. He's probably average athletically and with his body, but he processes the game well, and he can be a good quarterback. Like we saw with Sam Darnold this year. He started with poverty franchise, right? Spent a year in the Kyle Shanahan rehab system, went to Minnesota with another really good coach.
But it's the same system. So yeah.
And weapons, like every great quarterback ever, you can make the Brock Purdy argument for.
Mm-hmm.
That's you can't really do that with context. Otherwise, you're just like, oh, I mean, well, yeah, Jamarcus Russell didn't really work out. I was like, well, yeah, that guy had all the arm talent you would want.
Right.
And he probably wouldn't work out in any context, right? But those guys are the outliers, not the other way.
And he was fat.
Well, the league has crazy money.
Yeah.
But you know what also has crazy money? College football.
Yeah.
you want to jump there?
Yeah, I want to jump there.
We are supposed to talk about
so
Huskers
we are talking. This is a Husker pod.
It's the
I think it was fun. It is the off season. We're having fun. We'll go back to
here.
some
We'll
other
go to the Husker tie here. The Jets should just let Adrian Martinez start.
I don't disagree.
Honestly.
Hey,
how could we?
He was on our
Adrian
show.
back on?
Yeah, we did have Adrian on the show, so I would love to see that. What is your guys' opinion? And you guys nailed the segment yesterday. Nebraska ducking Tennessee.
Is that the word we're going to use?
Ducking?
Ooh.
Are they scared to play Tennessee? Connor, we'll start with you.
I have, and it was not an original take, but it is one that honestly was kind of deep-seated with me, was don't do the SEC any favors. Don't be their non-cons until they want to play as many conference games as we do. Like, they're already getting a break. Tennessee is and has been a very talented team they're getting their freebies and they're getting one more than we do. Why are we not going to do that? We've talked about this 100 times that the Big Ten, actually every other P4 conference is playing that extra game.
Well, not ACC, but yeah.
I said what I said. Sorry, P3.
There you go. You say it. It's just it's the
Yeah.
it's the power two anyways. So
I mean, yes, realistically it is the power two. But until the SEC wants to play the game like we're playing the game, don't do them any favors. Like we are, frankly, I don't believe that even next year we're going to be in a position to play Tennessee. I don't think we are. I think we are building, but Tennessee is still a high caliber team. They were last year. Like, don't do them any favors.
do you want to hear a hot
Mike,
take?
okay.
I think Nebraska would handle Tennessee. It would be a good game. But I'm also on the side of schedule easy. Why make it harder for you in this area of college football? Watch what happens, right? We'll say in 2027 or 2026, Nebraska and Tennessee, we've got this new college football platform, right? 14 teams, 16 teams, whatever it ends up being. Who cares, right? We get to the situation where you get the 4 automatic bids and they both have 9 wins, right? But Tennessee beat Nebraska by 3. Guess what? Guess who's going to the playoff? Tennessee. I'm with you there. Don't give them any extra favors. I imagine that SEC is going to be doing 9 conference games as well. So that's another thing people are saying, like, well, we've got 9. They're going to do 9 conference games anyways when we redo the playoff.
I'll believe it when I see it.
But it's
But
one
you
of those
guys-
things. In
Mike-
today's world, you do not need to schedule hard
Mike,
in your non-conference.
Ravi.
Just win.
Ravi,
Yes.
put the camera on us.
Turn on the TikTok
Mike.
camera.
You asked a very specific question, and both of you guys didn't answer it.
Did they duck them?
Did they duck them? Are they scared?
No.
You don't think they're
they
scared?
They didn't duck them. They did not duck Tennessee.
Okay.
If you look at the logistics of it, and I actually screenshotted, it was from Sean Callahan. He put out something really good. So if you're playing in a football stadium at 60% capacity for 7 games, if you play an 8th game, you can make up for the lack of capacity for the whole season.
Yeah, you basically make up the difference.
You make up the difference.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they're doing. And in this, it goes back to kind of like our Valentino's thing. Would you rather have Valentino's Pizza or good players in your roster? It's the same thing. Would you rather play Tennessee? Valentino's is trash. But would you rather play or
unless they want to sponsor the pod.
then hey,
Vals, we love you. Vals!
it's my baby.
Vals!
No. I'm just saying. Would you rather play Tennessee or have good players in your roster? Because if you're going to take that hit, that 40% hit for an entire football season, you're going to lose money that you can't pay guys in the future. That's my opinion.
I think we copped out a little bit. I think we did. Your point about getting that extra game at home and making that money back.
But they copped out the first time.
Well,
You
yeah.
realize this game was scheduled 10 years ago, and they copped out the first time.
I understand that. Your point about the money is fair.
It is fair because it's true.
Can we also,
I know.
real quick, can we also not pretend like Nebraska didn't offer to push it back and Tennessee said no?
Yeah, no, and I'll
That's what
acknowledge
their
that
AD
as well.
said. Their AD said that was a lie.
Well, I don't
Danny.
really,
Yeah.
I don't really buy it, Danny White.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, man, he was on Twitter. He was a little hot.
But so here's another thing. When you talk about paying players, like the revenue that we can generate from this extra home game is important to get these players in. I think it is, I might call it equal to the importance of beating Tennessee and showing that we are a team that, can compete at a high level. I think those things kind of wash.
Here's
It
the
just
problem,
kind of-
though. Here's the problem: is you get what are you going to get? 5 opportunities to do that during the Big Ten schedule.
Yeah.
If you play
Yeah.
Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State or USC
And that's
or
fair.
UCLA or whoever else, right?
Right.
Like you're going to have so many. That's the reason the 9 conference games matters,
Right.
because you're going to have so many opportunities to do that within the Big Ten against teams that, by the way, fans won't really have seen all of them in Memorial Stadium yet by the time these games would have come around, that it's not really any different than scheduling Tennessee. And if you're going to be facing these teams, you're going to have these opportunities anyway. You're not doing yourself any favors by scheduling Tennessee in the non-con. You're really not.
No,
Because
I agree.
I think the value of beating Tennessee in the non-con is negated by going 8-4 instead of 9-3 if you lose to them.
Yes.
Like now, if you go 10-2, that's great. But if you go 10-2 against Tennessee, you probably are going to go 10-2 against Akron too, and that still gets you in the playoff.
But I think we look at, again, Tennessee was a playoff team this year. So getting them at home.
and they had a soft schedule. So
I'm not negating-
Almost every playoff team
Yeah.
did, by the way. Like
Yes.
that was the
Yeah.
biggest. That was the biggest corollary between teams that made the playoff is they had the softest schedules. Like that is that's the key, is to have a soft schedule, win 10 games.
Tennessee scheduled Chattanooga, NC State, and then Incarnate Word and Helen Keller University. Like, what are we doing here?
But again, like Ravi, you bring up schools like USC, UCLA, and I don't know that you mentioned Washington.
I didn't bring up Washington or Oregon.
Yeah. Oregon is one that I would give you. Like if we got Oregon, yes, that's a big win and that's a conference win.
We beat them in Memorial Stadium. Who cares?
Yeah, not since they've been in the Big Ten.
I'm just saying.
But
I mean,
USC and UCLA, I'm going to be honest, were not teams that really impressed me this year.
Not this year, but they
Both
could
teams that
easily
beat Nebraska.
they easily could be better or the same as Tennessee next year or 2 years from now. And
I mean, we're operating on what
we're operating on the fact that Lincoln Riley's been a really good football coach for his entire career and has had one bad year. That's what I'm operating under.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assumption?
I think Lincoln Riley's system at USC is not as good as people think it is. I think Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma was standing on the shoulders of giants. And he was obviously able to recruit very well.
I think it's harder to
Generated a few
operate that
Heismans
system
there.
in the Big Ten. I'll give you that. But I don't think it's going to be that hard for him to get to 9 wins if he gets his roster right.
Well, I mean, and it's also that adjustment period. Nebraska went through it themselves.
Yeah.
The adjustment.
Do we not remember Nebraska's first Big Ten game
Right.
against Russell Wilson?
That was
Like
that was a horror movie.
I have nightmares.
Humbling.
Yes.
Like that's the word for it.
Yeah. And I also, you could argue, I know that Wisconsin's always been in the Big Ten, but you could argue Luke Fickell's going through the same thing right now.
100%.
It's the adjustment period of going into a totally different type of league. It's completely physical. And those 9 games just wear on you. Like Matt Rule talked about it in his press conference. Or I guess it wasn't his press conference. It was his interview with Josh Pate. But like that extra conference game does matter. When you have that extra game, whether it's Minnesota or it's Ohio State, the physicality wears on you on a 12-game season. And then if you throw the playoff in there, expand it again, there's another round of games.
Yeah, 15, 16, 17 games.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Dude, it's if anything, if we've learned anything from this past season, and they'll probably change it because I think they learned that this football season was long. Like people were losing interest by the end. Like even the national championship game, it's like, all right, dude, like NFL's in full swing here. Let's end this shit already. And I think people were over college football. And like,
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
There was
anybody that
fatigue.
gets
I was
that
more
sense.
like that. You got more.
There was
college
fatigue.
football game.
To be fair,
I feel like there was fatigue.
we need to recognize that we're sitting in a room of sickos right now.
Yeah, we're definitely probably in the minority.
Yeah, we're probably outliers here in terms of amount of college football
Sure.
consumed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, okay, so this whole ducking Tennessee thing. A lot of people are having flashbacks to Oklahoma a few years ago with Frosty, right? And I get it.
Thank you.
I get it. The optics are bad, okay? But nobody is going to give a shit. In like a month, no less than 2 years from now.
Yeah,
Nobody's going to
August.
care.
Nobody's going to care in August.
People are going to look at your win-loss record. That's it. That's it.
You know, I can't
What's
wait
your
for it,
win-loss
though.
record?
So Matt Rule's a trendsetter. He does things before
Everybody's
everybody
going
else.
to do it.
Everybody else is going to do
That's
it. Here.
right.
They're all going to. They showed. I don't remember who tweeted out. They're showing all these upcoming Big Ten versus SEC games, and I'm going through the list. I'm like, that's going to be canceled. That's going to be canceled. Like, I mean, come on. These games aren't going to happen anymore, especially if they expand the playoff and they do that like crossover game with Nebraska having their regular SEC opponent. Right? They're not going to do these games ever again.
Right?
Because you're already doing your one crossover game. You got to get your beat up games in for the non-cons. Like, you're not going to do these games anymore.
The only thing that can happen, and committees are dumb. Okay. Did you guys see that picture a few months ago where it's literally, and yeah, I'm going to say it. There's like 10 old white guys just sitting in chairs with no food. There's nothing. They're weird, right? Unless the committees value strength of schedule over win-loss record. If they're going to look at a Nebraska and say, God, you know, they went to Neyland, they went through Rocky Top, and they lost by 3. We are going to reward that.
Yeah.
Then teams will start doing this.
But they're not going
But they're not. They just look. Did you win 10 games, basically? Did you win 10 games? That's it.
That's I am in no way in favor of expanding the college football playoffs. I think 12 is the right amount.
You just got to accept it, brother.
It's
16,
happening.
baby.
16.
No.
It's happening. It's happening.
Let me lie to myself.
Lamplight?
It's called lamplighting.
Lamplighting. Yeah, people say that. But no, I do believe like fuck, the P4 as it is known right
It's
now.
P2.
I know, but there's four.
There's
top
not.
four.
They're not power.
The top four seeds are getting
the
by.
P stands for power.
The top four seeds are getting
There's
by.
two power. The
Power.
rest is everybody else.
It should not be based on like, oh, you won the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, whatever. It should be based on strength of schedule. Who's getting those buys?
Okay, so then why play the games? It goes back to Alabama's AD bitching and complaining about it. Why play the games then? We played all this really hard schedule and this and that, but we lost. We lost all these conference games.
Well, because then all teams will do
played
is
a hard strength of schedule.
But
that means you
hey.
can still earn those top seeds.
But all teams will do is just
That's
schedule.
not-
Hey, we're gonna go to Alabama every year, and go to Alabama again.
Yeah,
and then go to
we
Georgia.
could lose.
And then they'll just lose because
Yeah.
we have the number one state schedule, so it doesn't matter if we win. That's what teams
you
will do.
still have to win the games.
No,
You still have to win with a strong.
But then it gets to where do you
gets
draw the
messy.
line between?
Where do you draw the line?
What if you go 7-4, but if you had a hella strong strength
7-4.
schedule? That's where do you draw the line?
Did they not play 12 games?
What if they go 8-4?
What if they go 7-5, but they had like a
Crazy hard.
Yeah,
one
they had
loss,
Florida
one
schedule
point
this year.
loss.
They had
Yeah,
Florida schedule this year.
right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they lost by 1 point over and over again,
Yeah.
right?
I
But they
understand.
played really hard. They won those other ones. They won them with flying colors, but they lost close regularly.
I'm not going to look at close losses, but
You are the close loss king.
Shut up, Mike.
No, but that's kind of what we're talking about here when you're talking about
Yeah.
strength of schedule, really. Because if you win all your games, nobody cares what your strength of schedule was. Like if you're in a power conference,
Yeah.
even the lesser two power conference, and then you got the real power two conference. If you're in any of those four and you win 10 games, pretty good chance you're going to be in. So
Probably.
what we're talking about now with strength of schedule is close losses. That's literally
Yes.
that's the whole point of strength of schedule talk is like, oh, we took 3 losses, but look how hard our schedule was. Like you don't get to the strength of schedule until you're either talking about tiebreakers between 10, 11, 12 win teams, which is mostly seeding at that point, especially if we're talking about a 16 team expansion.
Sure.
Or you're talking about, hey, we're 8-4. Look how good our losses were.
Right.
That's all you're talking about
So
at
with-
that point.
With an 8-4, which is specifically what Jared brought up,
Which in a 16 team scenario is realistic.
if you go to 16
is.
teams,
Yes.
I understand that. I'm currently looking at the 12 teams.
But you shouldn't look at that because 2 years from now, it's not
but
going to be
let's
12.
even look at,
I'm looking at next season.
let's look at 12 because in 10 of the previous 12 years before, so basically when they started the playoff until when they moved to 12 teams, in all but 2 of those years, a 9-win team would have been in the top 12 going into the conference championship weekend.
Yes.
So a 9-3 team is very realistic on the table here.
Yes, but I was addressing the 8-4 argument.
Well, yeah, but he was talking about a 16 team playoff. So we'll move it to 9-3.
Yeah. 9-3, I can still understand. Like if you have a strong strength of schedule and you have those close losses, and like for me, those close losses are going to have to be against, high powered teams. Like we're looking at like top 10, top 12.
Yeah, but you know what's better than that? Is
Win.
losing one bad game and being Notre Dame and being fine the rest of the way with a bad strength of schedule. That's better.
Notre Dame was very interesting this season. I believe they were supposed to be there. I think they were overseeded. I think they were higher seeded than they should have been.
I mean, they played for the title, right?
I did watch that.
Every team
And
that
I
made the playoffs
I in
deserved
fact
to be there.
wore a Notre Dame hat during that game for my grandpa. I was very
Wow.
happy to see them there.
Big 10 hater. Tough look.
Oh, get out of here, Robbie. Your Florida State BS. It's nice to have backup teams and everything, right?
Listen,
you are the king of backup teams.
I'm sorry I like sports. My bad.
You can like sports and not have a backup team. Like
Well-
I have no NFL team and I watch all the teams.
Mike's a Colts fan.
I'm not a Colts fan.
You are.
No, I like players.
You
So-
named your
See, that's
daughter
how I am in the
Peyton.
NBA.
Right.
Is I'm a
Well, nobody
Players
watched
fan.
NBA, so
Well, some people do.
Facts.
yeah, like regularly, like
I mean, not
like
a lot
every
of,
night.
Not a lot of people that look like the guys in this room, but
I don't know.
I watch the NBA
I think a lot of
religiously.
Indian people watch the NBA.
it's actually very big in Toronto.
Okay, see,
Big Indian community.
Six.
up there.
yes.
Just the other day, I saw a debate on Allen Iverson,
Yeah.
and somebody had retweeted this tweet. This guy, oh yeah, here it is. James Harden is more influential than Allen Iverson, and
Yeah.
somebody retweeted it and had a white kid about 12 years old had the armbands, had the mustache, like that Allen Iverson had,
Yep.
just that subtle mustache, and like, of course, AI. I had Allen Iverson shoes growing up, of course, and
Yeah.
Tracy McGrady shoes.
I still have Allen Iverson shoes. I bought a pair when they re-released them.
I had Michael Vick cleats when I played football.
I had a pair of Michael
See?
Vick cleats.
Hey.
I used to wear them when I
Hey.
played softball.
See?
Pre dog or post dog?
Don't care.
No. I will say that James Harden has been influential on me. I'm trying to put on the gut.
Yeah, man, for real.
He was
Yeah,
maybe a little too influential on Luka.
Yeah.
Oh, that's enough.
Hey, he's paved the way for some of these pudgy motherfuckers that can ball.
He's like Zion Williamson's like, you know what,
Oh
James
my
Harden
God.
had a big impact on me.
Yeah. Can we agree that and I know, again, not an NBA podcast, but the Luka trade is arguably the most atrocious trade that has ever been made in the
It's
NBA.
ridiculous.
Like
There's
that was,
Yeah, people are gonna get fired over that.
you would assume.
People are gonna get fired over that.
You would assume.
Come
For
on.
Anthony Davis?
Heads will roll.
Like-
Franchises will fall.
Oh my God. Well, so
It's apocalyptic.
Ravi, did you know that I go by a nickname?
oh
Conspiracy
you don't.
Connor.
Oh, okay. You do go by that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Is this the casino conspiracy?
it is.
Okay, I'm
100%.
aware. I'm
Yep.
aware.
Okay, so for those of you guys that don't know of the casino conspiracy, the owners of the Mavericks wanted to put casinos in Dallas. It was not allowed. Not allowed.
Yeah, the
that
Texas
sounds
legislature
fun.
has not approved it.
Yes, correct. And
Famously conservative Texas.
shocker.
Yeah.
But the Mavericks, because of their recent success, the NBA doesn't want them to move. It's a large market now, right? So how do you resolve one of these things? Do you change the legislature?
Hard to do in Texas,
Very hard.
as we've seen here in the great state of Nebraska.
Yeah. Or do you make your market maybe a bit
Less
smaller?
desirable.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so
Interesting.
You trade Luka,
Tankopotamus.
which there were protests outside of games.
I
don't know
saw
if you
that.
Yeah.
They
And
were
so-
cool when their power grid failed, but when Luka gets traded, that's where
we hold signs.
Yeah.
Basketball, sports ball, bad here.
Because I believe,
mad.
and again, this is all rumor and all conjecture, that the owners of the Mavericks right now want to move to what city, Ravi?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
It's actually the first
you.
time Texas residents have protested on behalf of an immigrant.
Yeah.
fuck, that was good.
That's really good.
They're becoming more progressive.
Hey,
Look
you
at
know
that.
what?
Look at them. Hey, maybe they can get gambling passed in the legislature.
Yeah, maybe.
Let
We're
me
like,
tell you
we
right
will
now.
pass gambling in this state before
Damn right.
we advocate for immigrants.
Well, that was what was it? Mark Cuban's statement when they asked him about trading Luka years ago, and he was like, "If you ask me, Mike, the fridge is still open."
Mike likes that.
Mike's pretty good about
You're
that.
struggling with the fridge, my guy.
Well, Kyle doesn't deliver beers during the episode like I do.
No, and you're doing great, and we do appreciate
No,
it.
it's much appreciated.
You're doing great,
Um,
sweetie.
But they asked Mark Cuban about trading Luka, and he said, "If you had to tell me I could trade Luka or I had to get divorced," he's like, "I'd call my lawyer and have him start drafting papers." And suddenly, once Mark Cuban sells off that ownership,
Yeah.
Luka's gone.
Although let's be clear here, he is the guy that let Steve Nash walk.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm just saying. Now, Steve Nash wasn't Steve Nash MVP until he got
Right.
to Phoenix. But I for context,
No,
just want to put it out there.
I get it.
yeah,
Now, Connor, most of your conspiracies are weird,
yeah. They
Out there.
I try to be.
but I think if we've learned anything about sports ball owners, they're pretty shitty people overall. So this would not surprise me.
Bad
at
people,
all.
very greedy.
That's
I-
fine.
I would
Bad.
not.
Very
So for the most part,
bad people. They're the worst.
for the most part, I would say franchise owners in professional sports are shitty. I would not say that about Jim Irsay. But hold on, Mike.
Crazy.
That is only because
Didn't he
the
like
words
kill a
I
guy
would-
in a car?
Yeah. The
Okay.
only reason I wouldn't say
I'm
about
just
Jim
checking.
Irsay is because
Allegedly.
the words I would
Allegedly.
like to say
Allegedly.
about Jim Irsay, I even on a podcast where we're not regulated, I don't think I can say. Sell the franchise, Jim.
You piece of.
I hate
I
Jim
don't
Irsay so
believe-
much.
That the Dallas Mavericks will ever end up in Las Vegas
I don't either.
because Dallas, they love their Mavericks. I'm just telling you that now. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And the players might riot too because there's no state tax in Texas.
Mhm.
There is state tax in Las Vegas. So I'm just telling you, it's not going to happen. My wife has family in Dallas. They are still very mad about the Luka thing. So,
well, it also doesn't help that Anthony Davis got hurt immediately.
oh yeah, he's like, I'm here.
Wait, hold on.
He's
gone.
like, I will help carry the banner for Dallas. Oh God, my groin.
Shit.
The banner was heavy. Shit.
I know you can't zoom in on me, but I'm gonna do my best. Here.
Turn on the TikTok camera, Kyle.
Anthony Davis got injured. What?
What?
Wow.
Now, hey,
Imagine my surprise.
Yeah.
there's probably a debate between if it'll actually happen and if this was the intent behind the trade. I don't know.
Maybe they knew that his groin was bad. Bad
Just
groin.
like they knew that Mark Williams was not healthy. Sorry, that's like an NBA deep cut.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fine.
so
That's
like
crazy
fine.
deep.
We can get back to college football. It's fine.
Jesus.
college football, college basketball, whatever
yeah.
you want. But
Hey,
We do
not
have a college
NBA.
basketball game. We haven't
nobody
talked about.
watches the NBA. I'm just telling you that now.
Sorry, Robbie.
I guess I'm just.
I mean, it's well known that
Nobody.
it's a dying sport.
It's
It's
dying.
well known.
That was the other conspiracy, is that they made this trade during the Super Bowl to draw attention to the NBA.
and to get a superstar to LA.
Yeah. It like I believe that more than I do the Vegas thing.
I mean, listen, you can't put anything past it. Like all of professional sports are about 3 storylines away from being professional wrestling. Like,
I would agree.
I
agree.
I like that.
That's pretty accurate. And the NBA is about 1.5 storylines away from being professional
Yeah, even
wrestling.
closer.
You know, like so, like with all the KD stuff and whatever, like it is a. Sorry, that's me. No, it's a. I think that's a valid conspiracy. Is that hey, we want superstars in LA. LeBron's getting old. We got to be relevant during the Super Bowl week. Like I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, David Stern did some like shady stuff.
Yeah.
Like shady stuff.
Well,
And Adam Silver worked for that man for like 20 years.
Yeah, he knows.
you want to talk about deep cuts?
And he kind of looks like an alien. So who knows?
I was
He is an
literally just gonna say he looks like an
He
alien.
kind of like if we're at another Men in Black that anybody actually watched, Adam Silver would be one of the aliens, right?
He is.
Yes.
He
1000%.
actually that was his cameo.
Did he have a cameo?
Jesus.
Are you lamplighting me?
Connor, go. You had something else.
So
and this NBA shit. Hurry
I
up.
was trying to.
so
I'm trying.
I'm
Robbie was
going to
trying
make this
to
quick. This actually is
land the
about
plane.
the NBA.
My show's 3 hours, so I could get off the
Yeah,
track
you
a lot
can.
easier.
And there's no commercial breaks here.
You want to get into deep cuts.
right back.
Yeah, let's get in the deep water.
Deep cuts.
Let's get in the
We're gonna
North.
fucking drown,
Let's get in
baby.
the North Sea TikTok.
Go back to the lawsuits against the NHL in the 60s
Oh,
and read the referee's statements.
Read?
And they will tell you, like, oh, yeah, no, we were explicitly told sometimes to be easier on some teams because, they were one game out of the playoffs.
Mm.
And so reading, like, there's years of these refs, like, over, I think it was a 4-year span, saying, like, no, we were kind of told on how we were supposed to officiate games.
Yeah.
And if that happened in the 60s, these professional sports are all billion-dollar leagues now.
That was before fucking betting was nuts.
These are all
that was just the mafia.
billion-dollar leagues now.
I would actually make the argument that the actual gameplay is probably more above board now than it's ever been, just because there's too many eyeballs on it. Like it's much easier to get away with that in the NHL in the 60s when it's all like radio calls.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like there's way too many eyeballs and the internet exists and people are like Zapruder filming every single like every single holding call that goes the Chiefs way. Like it's so much harder now to get away with that.
I agree.
That's fair.
Now, in terms of organizational things, like, listen, I'm here for the conspiracies all day in terms of how the leagues are run and all that kind of stuff. But on a gameplay level, I actually think, especially because Vegas is not trying to lose money, I actually think it's all more above board now than ever.
Okay.
What was worse?
Oh boy.
I'm ready.
Don't. Just
up,
don't.
Mike. Shut the
Just
fuck up, Mike.
don't.
I'm
I know
doing it.
something's gonna
Fuck
come out of
you.
your mouth.
What was worse?
No.
Seeing Ja'Cory Barney get held on his crossing route versus Ohio State in slow motion,
That's fine.
or JFK?
Oh my god! I knew you were gonna do
As soon as
something.
he said Zapruder film,
I knew he was gonna do something. I will say
Which one affected America more?
it affected my feelings more.
Well,
But
I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah, no, don't. Just
No,
don't.
you're good.
No,
No.
we just leave it at that.
Could I
wait,
make
wait.
the argument that the death of
my-
JFK actually helped advance his policies?
Listen, LBJ had to
That's
do some
actually not
civil
a bad
rights
take.
shit.
Could
That's
I-
true.
could I
That's not a
make
bad
the
take.
argument?
JFK
It's not
was
a bad
not
take.
moving fast enough on
Okay.
civil rights.
Do we land on the
Land.
moon before the end of the 60s
Well,
like
we never land on the
JFK
moon.
wanted?
We never land on the moon.
If
But
Holy shit! Here we go.
we're not doing that, though.
Damn it.
I'm not
If-
doing that.
if JFK doesn't die. It was a
I
It was
I'm
for
just
the
saying.
greater good.
I'm just saying.
my question
I'm just saying.
has nothing to do with any of that. We're gonna get back on to Nebraska
Okay,
sports.
Jeff Onassis, I'm
before you
sorry.
say
This is
another
on
word,
Nebraska sports.
no, before you say another word,
Took one for the country.
we have somebody in the chat.
Oh no.
His name is Kyle Byers.
Oh, Kyle
Wait, who's that?
Byers.
Who?
He said, "Land the plane."
plane.
Yeah.
He says, "What the
We
fuck?"
can't.
I
All the
tune in.
FAA guys are getting fired.
He says, "I tune in, and we're talking about the '60s. Tell Connor his floorboards need more sanding. Who here knows about who Woj is? You guys probably don't. Ask Robbie.
Okay.
Adrian
Do
Wojnarowski?
you know who Woj is?
No.
You know who Woj is?
Even I know who
Adrian
Woj is.
Wojnarowski.
You know.
Like the ESPN guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you
Okay.
know.
So we were in the office the other day,
Okay.
and me and another coworker, Andy, or no, I think it was Brandon. We were talking to Kyle, works across the hall from me, and we're talking about how they're selling off Woj's cell phones and stuff that he broke news on to like raise NIL money for St. Bonaventure because that's where he works now.
Who the heck would want that?
I don't know, but you know who Woj is, and you understand like why that would be a
yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And he goes, "Wait, what's a Woj?"
Oh
What?
gosh.
And
You've
we're like,
never heard of the Woj bomb?
That's what that was our next question. We go, "You've never heard of a Woj bomb?" He goes, "No." He's like, "Is that a person?"
Oh my
Now,
God.
to be fair, a couple days earlier, I had to ask who Tate McRae was.
I
Do you know who that is?
I don't know who
it's
that
a,
is.
Who's
a,
Tate
a
McRae?
singer. or a
Okay, good. I feel
TikToker or
better now.
something.
I would. So these were my three guesses. Were country singer.
No.
Tate McRae sounds like a country singer name.
I could.
does.
Yes.
For
NASCAR driver sounds like a NASCAR driver name. Which is
Yes.
So you're really pointing at like a certain
Or-
demographic of
or-
person.
hold on, the other one's different. Corner outfield prospect.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought baseball player immediately.
Tate McRae. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tate McRae sounds like
She's like
a power hitting corner outfield prospect that strikes out a little bit too much. Maybe not great on defense.
I thought Tate
Is she a-
Martell, the transfer portal king.
Yeah, transfer
That
portal
guy.
king that like was a terrible quarterback and tried to play wide receiver.
That's who I
she's
thought
like
of.
she's a TikToker, right?
Yeah, so I figure I don't know. She's apparently a female recording artist that somebody in our office tried to convince their girlfriend to go see with them.
Mm.
And I heard a Tate McRae song today on the radio, and I was like,
How'd that go?
even it wasn't great. I
Were you
listened-
bobbing your head a little
No, I
bit? Like,
listened
oh, yeah.
Listen, I'm not embarrassed to say that I like embarrassing songs. Like I actively and publicly love Creed.
Feels great. Yeah.
Creed's not embarrassing.
But I go to some people it is, but they're not educated. But I listened to this Tate McRae song for about 30 seconds. And I go, oh, this is why you got in trouble. She sucks. I was like, this is not good. Like it's
Hey.
obvious you were just also
Ravi, no, here,
Yes.
Mike, ready?
Yes.
Ravi,
Yes.
it's not for you.
Okay.
It's not for you.
So other people
Don't
can
That's
go.
all. That's the
fine.
argument. It's
For
not
dorks.
for
It's
you.
not for you.
That's
Yeah.
fine. They can go. I'm
You're
just
an old
saying
man.
It's
I am.
not for you.
I'm aged.
Yeah.
You're learned,
Um,
like me.
I have
It
many
is a
leather bound
debate on
books.
who has more gray hair, you or Jared. I don't know.
Oh, I've got a lot of gray
Yeah,
hair.
you got a lot.
It's tough. So the sides are where it really comes in, but I keep those short, so it's not as noticeable.
Yeah. No, it looks good.
But I got it in the beard. The beard comes in pretty strong with the grays.
I can't grow a beard.
How old are you, Jared?
Shit. What? Don't do that.
No,
I'm seeing which one of us older.
I love that.
You're older.
You're older.
You're older.
You're
Am I?
definitely
I know
older.
that right away.
How old are you?
34.
I'm 37. How old are you?
29.
Shit.
I'm 30.
Okay.
Yes.
So
At least,
you're-
at least you're in the 30.
You're a child.
I'll be
You're a
30
child.
in May.
So you're going to be a child bride. You're getting married soon.
She's
That's
younger than I
right.
am, but
And you're marrying so my wife is younger than I am also. She's now in her 30s, which is good. Makes me feel less weird.
Oh, wow. The old cradle. We got cradle robbers on the show.
gonna say,
Yeah.
We're going to rename No Block No Rock the Cradle Robbers.
No.
I don't
Not.
know. That doesn't sound. That doesn't sound.
That is
cool.
worse than my JFK joke.
That's a very different podcast.
Okay, now,
Do we have any,
So, hold
like,
on.
okay, Connor, yeah, go, yeah. Cradle robbing still?
No, not cradle robbing. No,
We're up
No.
there.
we were talking about. I think Robbie mentioned things
For
that-
legal purposes, my wife was
Oh.
25 when I met her. Anyway,
Yeah,
continue.
that's
Thank you for that.
solid
Thank God.
clarification.
I had a whole ass marriage before I met her, so it's fine.
Jared, you
How'd that
mentioned
go?
to Robbie.
No.
That-
Not ideal.
Sorry.
You mentioned to Robbie that the Tate McRae stuff wasn't for him.
It's not for you.
Do you want to know what's not for me? A basketball game
Ooh.
where we can't hit over 100 points. 49-46
Total.
Yeah,
Dude.
95 total points. Can we get on that? I'm sorry. Like, I've been steaming for almost 24 hours.
Both teams.
Can I give you my take on this game real quick?
Please.
I know a lot of people are like, oh, everybody played really good defense. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
No.
They didn't.
Did you watch some of the shots that were getting thrown up?
It was horrific offensive basketball. Horrifying.
It wasn't
Like
defensive.
Berke Buchtenschel was just like YOLO ball. Philip Seymour Hoffman, may he rest in peace, pouring out.
Yeah.
Like along came Pauly, chucking that shit at the backboard, yelling Rainmaker, and missing the backboard on a couple of them. Like that was some of the most horrifying offensive basketball I've ever seen in my life. Like, was the defense okay? Sure. But this was not a product of outstanding defense. This was a product of dog shit offense.
It got to the point where my fiance asked me, she was like, do you want to keep watching this?
Not
And
even a little bit.
I said, no. And she said, can we change it? And I said, no.
Absolutely not.
Like,
We had in that seat right there, Ravi sitting. We had a guest. His name was Matt McMaster.
yes.
He came on our show and he told us when Michigan comes to Lincoln, if you like 90s basketball, you're going to see a physical basketball slugfest. And he nailed it on the head as somebody who was in attendance at that fucking game last night.
Mike, was it you?
Yes.
Do you have season tickets?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Thank you. As someone who was in attendance at that game, it was brutal. But this is the type of game, and I know Jared's going to chirp on this because this is this is the type of game that Nebraska has to win and needs to win. This is exactly how you want it. If you're Nebraska basketball, this is exactly how you want it. You want it ugly. You want it dirty. You want it no offense at all. This is exactly the game Nebraska had to win because they made it the way that they needed to win.
Before you go, Jared.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, like that might be the case. Nebraska's not built to win those games. They're not built tough enough to win those games. That might be the best path forward for them in general because they don't have the high level of offensive skill and the number of offensive playmakers to play other ways. But I'm just telling you, they're not that guy. Like Nebraska isn't. You've got a lot of fake tough guys on that team. I'm looking at you, Braxton Mia. I'm looking at you. I really am. You've got a lot of guys like that on the team that just are not cut out for that style of basketball. That might be their best option, but they're not going to win those games because there's other teams like Michigan that are better suited and have a little bit higher offensive ceiling that are going to beat you in those games. Nebraska is not about that life. They're not built like one of those old school Cincinnati teams or one of those old school Xavier teams or St. John's, where they will just beat the hell out of you. And it doesn't matter if they shoot 20% from the field. They're going to win that game anyway because they're about that life. Nebraska is not about that life. They're not. That's the problem I've pointed out with Nebraska all year. They're not good enough offensively to win offensive-sided ball games. They're not good enough defensively to win these slugfests. Like, that's just not how they're in this weird no man's land where they have to be pretty good at both, but not great at either. And that's what you get with this team.
They're not consistent at
they're not consistent enough
probably
at
at
either to win games consistently. So that's why you see games like last night where they get their heads stomped in and lose a 49-46 game. And then you see games like Iowa a few weeks ago where they've got a big lead and then lose a game that goes into the 90s in overtime because they let two separate guys go for 30 burgers in each half. Like, that's Nebraska in a nutshell. Is they're not good enough at either thing and not consistent enough at either thing to consistently win ball games. That's why for stretches of the season, we go, oh man, this might be a good basketball team. And then we look up and they go, oh, they've actually lost 9 of their last 14 games.
I want to point out that I did not say it as eloquently as Ravi just did, but I made this same argument weeks ago, and Mike shit on me for it. Not only in person, but also on Twitter and in text.
And you see that rose down there? I still gave it to myself. So
yeah, I made this same argument, just not quite as eloquently.
Okay. Jared, you go first.
Well,
you go first because
coming into this game, I was telling everybody, I go, look, you don't need to win. This would be a nice cherry on top. If you were to win this game, you probably might not even need 19. This could be like nice little cherry.
You definitely still need 19.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Now you need 20.
I disagree. That could be a debate we have. But going in, I was like, you don't need to win. But when Michigan shoots 5 of 27 from 3, you got to find a way
to get to 50 points.
It's right there for you. You made it. I don't want to say you made it because Michigan did shoot a lot of shitty shots. When they go 5 for 27, you gotta win.
Oh, okay.
Pull up
Why?
pull up the schedule.
You don't know it?
Mike, pull up the schedule.
There's 3 games left. Ohio
off the top
State,
of my head.
Minnesota, Iowa.
Hey, there were a lot of shitty
Minnesota,
shots.
then Ohio State, then Iowa. Minnesota's first.
Minnesota, yes.
Minnesota's next.
A lot of shitty shots. Absolutely. Dude, I will argue till the cows come home. That shot at the end by Esijan was probably the best shot of the game.
No, I don't have a problem with either of the shots that Esijan took.
You gotta make
those are the right shots. Now, I will say, I think 2 things can be true at the same time. Bryce Williams is not wired as a true hardcore alpha to just understand, hey, I probably need to take this shot, even if it's not the right basketball play. It's the problem a lot of people have with LeBron. Like, LeBron's going to make the right basketball play and not always the right alpha play, right? Sure. Jordan was always going to make the right alpha play, even if it wasn't the right basketball play, because he knew that was his job, right? That's why we love Michael Jordan and we revere
Kobe.
And Kobe's the same way, right?
Yep.
Mamba mentality.
But Bryce Williams isn't really that guy. He's very good. He's a very good ball player. He's not, like, look at his career. He's never really been that dude. Even
But
last
he
year
has been today. This year.
He's had to be this year.
Yeah, and I think he's rose to the occasion easily.
He has.
Now,
But I would also argue that
he's been sporadic.
I don't think he's wired that way. Like, that's not his default. I think he has to go out of his comfort zone to be that guy. And when he sees a Esijan wide open for a 3, he's going to make the right basketball play. And I'm not even saying he shouldn't, but that's why people have a problem with it. It's not because it wasn't the right basketball play. It's not because the Esijan wasn't wide open.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody's going to take that shot, it should be a Esijan, right? In terms of a 3 in that position.
That's why he's there.
Do you want to know why both of those plays can be true, though?
Yeah.
Because when they got that rebound, they should have called timeout.
Sure.
I don't care who shoots it. I don't care about that. That was a good shot by Connor. But we're only chasing one. And I understand if you're a shooter, you go and shoot that. Whatever. I get that, but on the flip side,
my personal preference is to let it play out in open floor because they don't get a setup. That's my personal preference.
And it was perfect. I'm sorry.
But when you have Fred Hoiberg as your coach, I'm just like, I like Fred X's and O's off a timeout. You get that board. They miss the freaking free throw. You get that board. You set something up, and that's when you can go get Bryce open.
Sure.
Instead of him having to think, oh, Connor's open, I'm gonna give it to him. No, you go get Bryce open.
Sure.
And Fred has been the master at that this year, coming off of a timeout because their lack of offense.
Here's where I'd make an argument. Michigan knows Bryce Williams is the guy also. So even if you draw something up, the chances of Bryce Williams being open are not super high. And if they're set, the chances of Connor Esijan being open are a lot lower. That's the argument I would make.
I agree.
Like, that's why I like letting it play out in open floor, is generally you're going to get a better look in live action, unless you are just an absolute wizard, which Fred Hoiberg's good, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But unless you're an absolute wizard and you've got good options in terms of, oh, they don't know I'm going to this guy, or that guy's so good it doesn't matter. And I don't know that Bryce Williams is quite that level of go-to guy. I'm going to let that play out in open floor. I don't have a problem with the way that played out. I have a problem with, like, the 39 and a half minutes before that.
Yeah, fair.
But like, that particular sequence is probably the least of the atrocities.
Bryce, Mike, you might. I don't say we've had debates over this, but I'm like, he's not a killer, but he's had great games, and he's had to be.
He's a highly overqualified number 2.
He's had to be the killer of this team, but that's also taking into account you got nothing else. He had to do everything.
Yeah,
Jesus,
I can't.
He had was it 18 of the 21 points in that first half?
He literally carried the team.
Yeah,
100%, and he has all year.
That's not sustainable.
It isn't, and we saw it in the second half. It wasn't sustainable. He was leaving shots short. He was shooting a lot of contested shots.
Michigan adjusted their defense.
They did.
They crept up and all that shit. I don't know why they didn't do that before, but Connor.
Oh,
I thought you had some.
No, I will interject. And so after this Michigan performance, again, Mike, I know you hated me for saying this, but I'm going to go around the table one more time.
Yep.
Is this a team that is worthy of March? I don't think so.
You throwing out a mic?
Jared, I'll go to you first. I'm going to go. I'll go left to right here.
I'm still get to 19. This game against Minnesota, must win. Must win.
I'm not
The
asking
rest,
you.
yes.
I'm not asking you
If they
If
will.
they're worthy.
I'm
If they're
not
worthy.
asking you the road to get there.
Yeah.
I'm saying right now, as you look at this team,
Mhm.
are they worthy of March? I'm saying no.
I think in 2024, 25, you look at the rest of the resumes,
It's a shit-tastic bubble.
shit-tastic.
It's
Thank
a
you.
bad-
That's the word.
It's a bad bubble.
It's a bubble that is it's a bubble of shit is what it is.
Yeah.
And
because
Nebraska is worthy of the shit bubble.
They are worthy to be on the shit bubble. They are.
Right?
I'm not disagreeing with that.
And like I think if they made it, assuming they get to 19, I think they are worthy of being in. And that's taking into account the rest of the field is just not as high.
So I
Just not
think
as
that's important because
sure.
if you just tell me in a vacuum,
Yeah.
We're going to put the beer down. This is important.
Oh, yeah.
In a vacuum, we're going to talk about science stuff here. If you're telling me in a vacuum, does this look like an NCAA tournament team? Does this look like a team worthy of March? The answer is a hard no. In context of what this season is, I'm looking at, we talked about this on the show today. Gonzaga kind of sucks.
sure.
They've got 8 losses. 4 of them, I believe, are in a low major conference. They haven't beat a top 50 Ken Pom team since November. Their best win of the season is the first game of the season against Baylor. And they've only got 2 top 100 wins after November. They are playing in a bad conference. There's a couple other good teams in that conference, and they're 2-4 against those teams. Gonzaga is a hardcore lock for the tournament in a low major, typically one bid league. This is the state of the bubble. That's why I use Gonzaga as an example. They're like number 11 in the net, which is bonkers.
Wild.
What?
This is
No,
a
okay.
Net
North
is a joke, though.
North Carolina. What is North Carolina?
The
And
net
I love North
rankings,
Carolina, by the way.
the net rankings are so unbelievably fucked right now.
I understand that, but that's what the committee
Yeah.
goes off of.
And I understand that.
So that's my point here is, I mean, look at Purdue. Purdue's 19-9. They're still, the metrics love them.
Yeah.
They're literally only 2 games better than Nebraska right now, and they are a hardcore lock. Look at Illinois. Illinois is playing very bad basketball
they're
right
not
now.
looking good at all.
Very bad basketball, and they're not really even in the bubble conversation yet. Like, they'd have to lose another game, which would be their 5th in a row, by the way. They'd have to lose another game to get onto the wrong side, to even get onto the right side of the bubble. They're past the bubble right now.
Mhm.
So in context of this year, yes, Nebraska looks like an NCAA tournament team, but that's because there's about 20 teams that are going to make the NCAA tournament that suck. Like, as at large, 20 might be high, probably 15. There's going to be 15 teams that make the field as an at large this year that suck. There's other years where there's 15 teams that are pretty good that don't make the tournament, that end up in the NIT, and you end up with, like a St. Mary's team that's 27-3 that doesn't make the NCAA tournament, or you end up with a St. Louis team that's like 28-4 and doesn't make the NCAA tournament because we just had to have an 18-14 Oklahoma team in there. Right.
Or like a 20+ Nebraska team that had to go to the NIT.
Yes.
They're like,
Tim Miles.
So, like, in context of this year, yes, I think it's an NCAA tournament team. In general, eye test, like the history of me watching the NCAA tournament, God, no.
That is a very fair response.
Thank you.
I think you covered everything. Mike, what do you got? Because I know you're going to shit on me here.
no, I'm not going to shit on you. I agree with what Robbie's saying.
Only
here.
if you're into it.
No.
Which
I'm just
which
I thought
No, you stay away from it.
I thought
I didn't say the word.
I thought you were a Browns fan.
If you're asking me if Nebraska is a tournament team,
Cleveland too.
I would say yes. I think their resume, what they've done with Q1, they've had 14 opportunities at Q1. That's a lot of fucking Q1 games. I'm just saying. They have as many Q1 wins as Creighton does, but Creighton's played 4 less Q1 games.
Mm-hmm.
So they've won a lot of those games on the road, which if you look at this team last year, they didn't get their first road win until
like now. Yeah.
So
Like today.
I would say resume wise, I think they're going to make the tournament. They have to find 2. 19 normally doesn't get you in. With this shitty bubble, I think they're going to get in. I said it before. I think this team could get in. I'm going to stick with it.
I don't feel great about 19, just for the record. Like, I think this looks like an NCAA tournament team.
Do you think that requires them to win a game in the Big Ten tournament?
100%.
Okay.
Like, so Damon and I talked about this on the show this morning. 19, you're leaving things into a lot of other people's hands.
Yeah,
You're leaving things to bid stealers and committee looking at your resume and liking the good wins more than the bad losses. Like you're leaving things in other people's hands at 19 wins. At 20 regular season wins, you're taking things out of their hands.
I don't see them going 3-0 in their next 3 games.
I'm not saying I do either, but that's the difference between 19 and 20
so you're
for
saying
me.
the only way Nebraska gets in is if they win 2 of the next 3 and wins a game in the Big Ten.
Well,
tournament.
I'm not saying the only way. I'm saying
at 20, you can kind of erase those question marks.
yes.
Yeah.
At 19, you're going to have a lot of question marks going into the Big Ten tournament. And even into the Big Ten tournament, let's say you get 1 in the Big Ten tournament, you're still leaving yourselves at the mercy of, okay, I'm going to be in the same group with a lot of teams that I don't necessarily want to be in that group in. If I get to 20 regular season wins, that puts me at 10 and 10 in a power conference. I'm at 500, which I know they say they don't look at that much, but I promise you they do. Being 500 in conference matters. Getting 20 regular season wins matters. Like that gets you onto the right side of the bubble. If you're sitting at 19, you're going to be at other people's mercy. And that's not where you want to be because Nebraska doesn't have the basketball brand name
That's right.
to get the benefit of the doubt, right? Illinois is going to get the benefit of the doubt. Nebraska's not. Purdue and Gonzaga are going to get the benefit of the doubt. Nebraska's not. Like there are other teams that will get the benefit of the doubt over Nebraska, and that's going to be a problem at 19 wins.
So, Mike, I may have misheard you. Did you say that Nebraska and Creighton have the same amount of quad 1 wins with Creighton playing less?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's concerning to me. Yeah, you said they played 4 less quad 1 games, and they've got the same amount of wins. Not that quad 1 is the big deal because I know
the quads are kind of a circle jerk, to be honest. They're ridiculous.
Sure. And I know in quad 1 and quad 2, Nebraska has done fairly well.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't look bad.
No.
But to sit here and say like, oh, they've played 4 fewer, I think is the number I heard, quad 1 games, and we have the same amount of wins in that quad.
Yeah.
That is concerning.
Sure.
And again, this Michigan game, knowing that is a quad 1 game, Michigan ranked 15 at the time, I believe. We can't even really attribute it, like you said, to it being like a defensive game. It was just horrible offensively.
It was one of the most poorly played basketball games I've seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
It was
so
it was straight. I mean, so you don't like basketball.
Coming from a person that played basketball their whole life.
Yeah.
And I hate the NBA.
Yeah.
I love like shitty basketball.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Like I'm kind of like over basketball, and so like
you don't really like basketball.
Yeah,
like that's the point. That's the point you're making, which is fine.
Well, no, I like it, but I like shitty basketball.
What's really
I like it dirty.
Which means you don't really like basketball.
What's
I
really
guess.
I think
I don't know. I mean, hey, maybe there's an argument that you don't really like basketball. And it's funny because one of my friends, Tobias, said basketball is meant to be played, with a bunch of athletic dudes, and it's supposed to be pretty. I'm like, I sent him an emoji with the nails, and I'm like, oh yeah, oh that's cute, that's really nice, man.
I think what's most frustrating about this Nebraska team is they seem to find a way to play to their competitors' level. Like Michigan did not play well against Nebraska. Nebraska played bad. We just played worse. We have these quad 1 wins where we played to that level. Yeah. And they've proven they can do that.
Illinois and Oregon and Creighton, those are good wins.
Yeah, great wins. We just consistently, they cannot show that they can play like that every day.
It's the consistency. Like you said, it's consistency is a huge issue for Nebraska.
The scary part is, though, is if this team does get into March, I wouldn't count them out because they can play to the level of their competition no matter who it is. I'm telling you, no matter who it is.
I want one.
So
that's all I want.
One.
That's all I want.
Can I tell you what the most ironic thing would be coming out of this season? Like the most fitting end to this season is Nebraska goes to Dayton and gets their first NCAA tournament win as a play-in game.
That'd be sick.
That'd be and it counts. It 100% counts. I'm not saying it doesn't. But
most J-Skers won't say
no,
that's right, Robbie.
It counts.
Most J-Skers will say it will not count.
Listen, you're going to be the minority.
I usually am. Okay.
Oh,
listen, you get paid out by the NCAA you get a unit for it counts. If you get paid for the win, it counts. Like I'm 100%. But it would be kind of funny if that's how the first win comes.
I don't care.
It'd be a little
fun. I would take it all day.
Too.
Yeah.
I 100% would.
Am I being a stickler to say that
probably
I don't count it?
Yeah, you're being a stickler.
See, and that's the thing.
That goes back to backup teams. Well, one, Nebraska basketball is Connor's backup team. So his opinion on this topic completely
Wait, hold on.
does not matter.
Does Ravi know this yet?
He is a Duke basketball fan.
Duke.
So having backup teams
That actually
drives
makes
me
sense.
freaking insane.
First of all, I became a Duke basketball fan in 4th grade. I am a Husker basketball fan because I graduated from the University of Nebraska. I'm allowed to claim them.
So your argument right there is not making Mike. It's not convincing him.
Thank you.
It's literally making him
makes it worse,
feel
actually.
worse
It
about
actually
you.
makes it worse because I grew up with Connor, and I promise you, everybody in your family roots for Nebraska or Notre Dame. So
I also root for Nebraska.
nobody in your family roots for Duke except for you.
That's correct.
Yes. So that is idiotic.
Can I ask a question here? Let's say, because there's a real chance that Omaha is going to make the NCAA tournament,
Sure.
right? They could win the Summit League very easily. They would end up as a 16
Here we go.
Where are you going with this?
You know where he's going because
God
we had
damn it,
this
Robbie.
conversation today, Jared.
likely in Dayton, right? They would likely end up as a play-in team in Dayton. What happens?
when UNO gets one first.
No.
Okay.
What happens if Omaha and Nebraska both end up in Dayton and both get their first tournament wins in Dayton? If Nebraska's doesn't count, does Omaha's?
No.
Why not?
They all count.
They all count.
I'm a hardliner.
So this is how I know that he's a, no offense, not a ball knower.
Oh, you just threw.
So-
Because
I
whoa,
love
whoa.
where we're headed. because
Connor, you
this
better
is-
get him.
I will throw gauntlets. on
let's
this.
rewind the clock here a little bit. Everybody remembers when the tournament expands to 64 teams in 1985, right? None of us were alive, but we all know, like, hey, it's been about 40 years since they
You weren't
expanded.
alive?
I was not.
Shut up,
Okay,
Mike. None of us were.
Do
Fuck
the
you.
math real quick. I'm 37.
I was just checking.
I said how old I was.
I close.
I am kind of close. I'm an 87 baby, but I'm not. I don't expect Millard South to be able to do the math over here.
I thought you said
Yeah.
39 earlier, so that's in my head. I'm like, are you sure?
no, I'm 37.
Okay.
37. I was born in 87. I'm 37.
Okay, so my math checked out, but I was wrong. Okay, that's fine.
But your listening comprehension did not.
Yes. I was busy getting beers for everybody. All right.
Fair.
That's
fair.
true.
Pass.
Yeah.
You get a
Team
pass.
player.
King.
Team player.
You get a
drop
pass.
this king.
So before that, though, the tournament went through a series of mini expansions from, I believe it was 42 to 44 to 48 to 52 in the years prior to 1985.
Sure.
All of those wins counted the same. This is the exact same thing we're going through now. We're probably going to end up with 72 or 76 teams sometime in the next handful of years. And then once we decide, oh, the first round has gotten to this breaking point, now it counts, that's stupid. We don't count that with the expansions in the 70s and the early 80s.
Good argument.
All of those are just wins. Contextually, nobody remembers, like, well, that was only like a half first round and these teams had buys. Like, doesn't matter. Like, do you not count wild card teams in the NFL as those count as wins?
Well, he doesn't actually.
No, I actually don't.
He doesn't count that
and
because I
would
said
point
T-Law
out-
has a playoff win.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
he
you-
doesn't agree.
No, I don't agree with that either.
So
And
you have bad
again,
opinions across platforms.
Yes.
No, I
He's
think
a non-ball knower.
you
Multiple
have
balls.
to get into the actual playoff system for me to count you.
And the NCAA has told us that if they don't call it a play-in game, we do. We call it a play-in game. They call it the first round. They have established that this is the tournament field.
And the NCAA has never been wrong about anything.
No, but they're the ones that make the rules.
No, I get that. They're just wrong.
So you're saying they're wrong by the rules that they themselves created.
Yes.
That doesn't make any
I
sense.
think play-in games, like, do your play-ins, and that got you into the tournament.
No,
Now you got to win a tournament.
Well, we
game.
call it playing.
Like,
But
but
we
it's
call
not.
it that.
you know what the play-in game is? Their conference tournament. They already won that.
No,
That's the play-in. The NCAA has established this is part of the tournament.
well, and so I want to point out, you go back to, the expansions
Mhm.
leading through the 60s, 70s, were 70s and
Into
to
the early
mid
80s.
80s.
It's like 60s hockey.
Yeah. If you ask me about those, I would tell you the same thing. It's like, no, I don't count those as tournament wins. You have to get into the tournament, get to be that 16 seed.
They were in the tournament. That's the point.
I mean, technically.
It was
technically.
That's the thing.
So technically it counts.
Yeah, I'm not
so
a
like
technical
in
guy.
college baseball, like if you
Go
make,
get
if
a
you make a
win.
regional in college baseball, you're technically in the college
Go
baseball
get,
tournament, right?
go get a
Technically.
meaningful
Right.
win.
Okay, there is no technically or not technically. That's moving the goalpost, by the way. Meaningful win and a win in the tournament are not the same thing. Because, like, okay, is a 1 seed beating a 16 a meaningful win? No, it's not.
No, and that's a fair
Does
argument.
it count?
Yes, because you at least
so it
have
counts.
a 16.
So it counts.
What's
listen,
the playing
there
game?
is
What seeds play in a playing game?
There is no. Well, they're not playing games. They're the first round.
What seeds are they?
16s and 11s.
Yeah, I don't. The play-ins are
So
not
an 8-9 doesn't count either because they're too close.
If you are not automatic, like if you're not an actual seed in the
They are an actual seed. They're 16s and 11s. Like they get seeded. The worst 16s and the worst 11s play in the play-in games. They are seeded by the tournament. Like there is no technically in and technically out. You're either in the tournament or you're not in the tournament.
And you're in the NIT, and they're not in the NIT. So they're in.
So
Therefore,
if
they're
you're not in the NIT. If you're playing in Dayton, you are in the tournament. It counts. You may not like it. That's fine. You may not feel good about the first win for Nebraska coming in Dayton. That's fine. But you may not feel good about Nebraska splitting the 97 title with Michigan. You still count it though, don't you?
Hey!
I certainly fucking do not.
Too far.
So you don't count you don't count the 97 title.
No, I count ours.
Oh, we definitely.
I do not respect Michigan's claim,
even though theirs came from the better poll.
Shut up.
I do not.
Shut up.
No,
The AP poll is more legitimate. Like let's
shut up.
No,
just because the coaches felt sorry for Tom, they should have. Okay.
No, here's what I'm saying. Though. Here's what I'm saying though.
Let us have it.
No, here's what I'm saying though. It does count.
Yeah, it counts.
It does count.
It counts.
If you're from Michigan.
No, both of them count. They both count. Like Colorado and Washington split one in 1990. It still counts. Like Georgia Tech and Georgia split, or Georgia Tech and somebody else split one in like 91. Yeah. Like it still counts. Miami.
Well, and all of Iowa's, they're all split in or against YMCA West and East. So like they apparently count too.
None of those. None of those.
Bluff School for the Blind.
None of them.
No, anything that happened before the AP poll era does not count. To be clear, anything that happened before the AP poll started does not count.
Not just before the AP poll.
Before World War II,
black people could even play with everybody else equally.
So only like 2 of Alabama's count.
Correct. Well, not 2.
Did I stutter?
There's a few of those.
Did I stutter?
I mean,
that would be like all Minnesota's.
Alabama didn't integrate until like the late 70s.
That's
there's a reason why modern college football starts in 1970 when Nebraska won their first.
I'm just saying, I'll give you everything post World War II. Because I'm not counting Doc Blanchard and Army. I'm not.
Hey,
you're not counting when they played YMCS in East.
Like thank you for your service.
Nebraska.
Thank you for your service.
Literally.
Literally, thank you for your service. But it doesn't count until after World War II.
So
1946 is the first legitimate college football champion.
My favorite argument is, so I'm a Royals fan, is talking to Yankees fans.
When they're like 1922,
we've got 27 titles. Like, no, you don't. No, I don't count anything before integration. I don't count shit before integration.
You know what's funny? Not even integration. Just the fact that you didn't have uniform rules across anything.
Yeah.
Pre like 1940. Yeah. I went, for some reason, when I was in high school, I went back and memorized 100 years of World Series champions.
Why?
Because somebody said I couldn't.
I respect that.
Okay, so if I throw it, you
are a Millen North guy.
Maybe it's
okay. So I'm not.
I purged a lot of that information.
I'm not going to go super far back.
Okay.
1972.
A's.
Yeah, Oakland
A's won 70, 71, 72.
Yeah, they're the team.
I'm just going to believe them because I don't have a way.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, literally, Jared said the same thing.
I think,
and Jared has the most obnoxious knowledge in his brain, so I believe.
I believe it was the A's.
I'm a huge baseball reference guy. I'm on there all the time.
Yeah.
So with you saying that you've memorized all the World Series,
at one
Mike's
point,
like, what? I'm like, I'm on baseball reference.
You
unhealthy amount.
You are, and because you're a big war guy.
I'm a big
OBP guy.
Don't tell me average. Right. His average was 217. Yeah, but his fucking OBP was 400.
So you're like a big Jack Cust guy.
He's an anti-Salvi guy. So like.
Listen.
I could see the glimmer in your eyes.
He is an anti-Salvi.
I can see the glimmer in your eyes.
Is that a glimmer?
You love Jack Cust. No, you're a big Adam Dunn guy, aren't you?
Listen, fucking hit taters, man.
He did it. And he looked a lot like Will Ferrell. But no, I also love baseball reference. Sometimes when I'm sad, I'll just go look at Barry Bonds' baseball reference page.
And you just see all the highlighted.
You just see the OPS. It's like 1,000. 2,000. I think it's literally his last 14 years of his career minus 1 year where it was literally 999. Anyway, No, but so I don't even remember what we were talking about. Oakland A's for some reason.
Nebraska.
No, fuck
we were
Michigan.
talking about this.
Oh.
Nebraska's making the fucking tournament, and if they win in a
If win the
play-in
play-in
game,
game, it counts.
It fucking counts.
It counts.
And we don't take opinions from Duke basketball fans. End of story.
I'm sorry.
Tar.
I'm just used to wins. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I'm used to never living in the state of North Carolina in my entire life. But go Duke. Tar.
Oh, JJ Redick is a saint.
Oh, because he was a white basketball player. Go look at Nebraska's basketball roster. You can fall in love with any of them.
Why not Chris Duhon? Huh?
They did
Why not Bear K Buchengel?
Yeah.
Not a big Jason Williams guy, huh? Weird.
Why
I
is that?
Also love
Not a
Jason
big-
Williams.
Not a big Shane Battier guy.
Why?
Trajan Langdon, Sheldon Williams.
So
He's
first
just
of all,
naming black
you're
guys.
naming like Jason Williams, love. But I also, and this is not
Joke's on you. I meant the murderer, Jason Williams. Tough
Oh
look.
shit.
He's also a big Grayson.
A big Grayson Allen guy.
Big Grayson Allen guy.
Weird, right?
Isn't it?
Weird. He's like my favorite Duke players of all time.
Cooper Flag.
Christian Leitner.
Shit.
We're gonna Cooper
So,
Flag.
okay,
We're
this is
gonna. We love a Bobby Hurley.
you.
JJ
Redick.
We love JJ Redick.
This is
We absolutely love Kyle Singler.
You know what those are? Exciting whites.
I will tell you.
Anytime I go to a place that has wine, I make a joke about the interesting whites section.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It does hurt that you immediately brought up Leitner because I do love Christian
Hey,
Leitner.
of course
you know
you
what
do.
else is funny?
Of course you
Yeah.
do.
You know what else is funny?
I bet he makes the argument that Larry Bird's the best basketball player of all time.
Well, he was really good.
Also,
Listen, I do make a mean Larry Bird argument, but anyway, continue.
Mike, camera on me, just real quick.
Yep.
I
It's on
have
you.
to make a joke at your expense.
TikTok camera.
Hate North Carolina. You hate North Carolina. You love Tyler Hansbrough.
Weird.
Weird.
No, so
Weird, right?
What does Tyler Hansbrough have in common with several Duke players?
Let's think about it real quick.
tall.
Weird.
Tall. Exciting white.
I will tell you. So I own
You probably love Josh McRoberts too, don't you?
I own one Duke jersey.
Holy shit,
I don't like where this argument's going.
Roberts.
I own one Duke jersey.
How do you even know that name? That's crazy.
elite ball knowledge.
I own one Duke jersey.
If it's Josh McRoberts, I swear.
It is Trey Jones.
Oh, look at you getting the halfies.
Dog.
Look,
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Is that Tyus? Oh, I'm sorry. The other
That's
one.
his brother. They're not. No.
Mike doesn't know the difference either.
that's brother with an ER.
That's
yeah, not brother.
We're specifying.
Not like Zoolander means it, like actual genetically.
Oh, it doesn't count.
I just think
Elite movie knowledge
I
too.
just think it means more.
So fuck Duke is what we're saying.
Yeah. So, anyways, at the end of the day, it looks like it was 3v1.
Well, no, I mean, Robbie,
Mike,
you make a good point. It's all different, like standards at the time, and like kind of like the whole win-loss thing with Nebraska football. Like it doesn't matter. You're just going to look at the win-loss record, right?
Thank you.
And
I
that's all
will
that
not
matters.
care if
And
we go
listen,
9-3 and the 3 losses are conference
Here's the
losses.
thing,
Don't care.
like in 10 years, you're going to look at, okay, who made the playoff in 2024? And you're like, oh, SMU made the playoff. That's weird.
Right.
Like that doesn't count any less for them than people that made the 14 playoff the year before. Like
Nope.
that's what the sport decided was the playoff.
Right.
And now you're a playoff team.
You just play by the
Like,
rules.
I
You play
can't-
by the rules.
I
Right?
can't do anything about that. I have to go by whatever the governing body says are the rules. And the governing body says the first round that we call the play-in games, that they count. If they pay you for it, it counts. They pay you for that win.
Okay, and like
and
you
I'll
said-
hang and we will hang a banner if we win. I'm just telling you right now. I bet Nebraska drops a banner if we get
I
our
swear
first.
to God, if they
say-
hang a fucking
It's
banner,
just gonna say NCAA
You have to.
tournament
You have
wins.
to.
You have to.
You
No,
have to.
you cannot.
Yes, you can.
No.
bruh.
Connor, get the camera on me, Mike. Okay, I did. This is the worst power basketball team of all time. If we get our first tournament win, there you best believe we have fucking Teron Lue's jersey up there. What did Teron Lue do in college basketball? He never won a tournament game.
He made a tournament.
He didn't win a tournament
I
game.
think.
Didn't win a tournament
Didn't
game.
win one.
I'm just telling you, we will hang a banner if we get our first tournament win because it is well known across all of college basketball ball knowers.
Every fucking
that
stat.
Nebraska has not won a tournament game.
Only Power 5 team.
Only one.
Do you want to know what you do if you hang a banner?
Hang from it.
Yeah. If you hang that banner
Yeah.
for your first
Go on.
tournament win, you only applaud yourself
Yes.
for being the worst
Yes.
Power 5 program.
Mhm.
Embarrassment.
Go on.
I don't want one.
I do.
I don't even want two.
Well, you got plenty with your Duke friends, so you're good.
I want Nebraska to get multiple. This program
You know, 2
under
is
Fred
multiple,
Hoiberg.
right?
What's that?
You know, 2 is multiple, right?
I want more than two.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ravi. Yeah.
So you only hang a banner if they get two?
No, I want this program because it seems to be trending in
Low
the right
standards.
direction.
We have a low
The worst
standards here.
We
We fully fucking admit that.
and that's okay.
We
I-
accept progress.
I
We-
understand.
progress.
we can't erase 100 years of shit. We can't do
It's-
that.
I think it's more.
It happens.
Some people will try.
It is more embarrassing to hang a
Rewrite
banner
history.
for one win than it is to have
Okay.
zero.
Well, you can I hold on, watch this. Did you not say that Keisei Tominaga deserved a statue?
Jokingly, yeah.
Oh, now it's jokingly.
Yeah,
Hey,
go
you
listen to the
said-
episode.
That
How many times have I had to send you links to our own episodes to correct you on what I said?
Hey!
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you said that-
Jokingly,
I wasn't joking. Keisei Tominaga was a figure in Nebraska ball history that could be trending us in the right direction.
But
And I'm
again-
talking about this year.
But again, this is fully admitting that the bar is fucked.
The lowest.
Bryce Williams will get a statue if we win a tournament game.
okay.
So will Fred Hoiberg.
I'm gonna
And Hoiberg.
dog. I'm gonna dog on my own fucking team here.
Yeah.
The Indianapolis
Duke?
Colts
Oh,
hung a
that's easy.
banner to be an AFC finalist because they lost in the AFC
But they have
Championship.
Super Bowl trophies, so I get
No,
that.
but-
This is lower
No,
than that.
But they hung a banner to say AFC finalist. That's fucking embarrassing.
Mm.
You don't hang a banner for one.
You know what's
tournament win.
embarrassing?
You don't do that.
You know what's embarrassing?
No.
Never winning a tournament game in
For
the
100
history
a long
So
time.
what?
of
Is
college basketball.
I know I say
if
100 years.
you hang the banner, you're essentially saying that's our peak. We did it. We're done. Fuck
Or-
Peak
that.
for 100 years, that's
Fuck
the peak.
Or you
Fuck that.
or you add to it. So you got 2025, then maybe it's 2026, 27.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm at the
No.
point now where we probably should just hang banners when we beat Creighton. So we probably
No.
should.
Yeah, boy.
You don't.
There
hang
wouldn't
a
be many,
banner.
but hey.
You do not hang
But
a
there'd be
banner
more
for
than one.
tournament
Actually,
win.
there's more than you think. Before
That's right.
Creighton was relevant,
I'll say
there was a lot.
Earlier, prior to Greg McDermott, there was
there was a
basic-
lot.
Yeah,
it was like almost 50-50.
Yeah, it was an even series
Yeah.
basically. Yeah,
I'm sure
even
there
with Altman, it was pretty much
Yeah.
even. Yeah,
So
no, it's accurate.
now I'm at the point where we could do that, and I would still, I'd
mean-
be like, cool, those are cool.
Listen, there's a lot of quality programs. I'm going to include Creighton in that. They have a banner with the years of just NCAA tournament appearances.
And that will be on there. We already have one. At PBA, we have a banner that says NCAA
That's
tournament.
what I mean.
But guess what? We're going to have one next to it that says NCAA tournament wins,
Win.
and it's going to say 2025.
Which I don't
Yeah.
think
I
that's
doubt
any.
it.
I don't think that's any more embarrassing than just having appearances. Like
Right.
appearances means nothing except for we made it. You get bounced first round, and you're just like, hey, look how good we did. Like
How
that's
many-
the same thing to me.
But how often do we see Creighton get bounced first round?
I mean, lately
Other
not a
than-
lot.
Lately, not a lot.
Other than what? Was it 2 or 3 years ago?
No, 2 or 3 years ago they made the round of 32. They lost to Kansas in the round of 32, who ended up winning the national championship.
Okay, so not super recently.
Well, remind me.
Yeah.
First Florida, the game-winning shot. Who made that?
Terrell Taylor,
Like,
2002
and until then, it was
in
like
the United Center.
fucking A. I still remember watching that game
Yeah.
too. Terrell Taylor hits a game winner against Florida,
That was a 12/5.
and that was a huge deal for Creighton.
That was
Like,
an
oh my
enormous
god,
deal. Yeah.
what?
100%.
Nebraska just needs one
They
of
need
those.
their Terrell Taylor moment.
That's right.
And you know who's going to make the shot?
Casey Tolman.
Connor
Connor
Seagen.
Seagen.
Oh my god,
Sam Hoyer.
It's Sam Weaver.
Dude, honestly,
Hey, man.
Sam Hoiberg hitting that shot would be just chef's
Build him the
kiss.
statue.
I'm just saying.
It's weird that he's more okay with Sam Hoiberg taking the shot than Bryce Williams. Weird.
Oh, I'm saying it'd be chef's kiss. I'm not saying he's the guy that I want to take.
He
I said
wants Sam
Connor
Hoiberg.
Seagen right away.
Connor Seagen, Sam
weird.
Hoiberg. Oh, weird. Weird.
I don't like this.
Your Duke bias is showing.
Weird.
Connor
I like
Seagen would
this.
fit in very well on the Duke roster. He looked really
There's
good on
two
the
white kids on the Duke roster. I don't like this.
Cooper Flag. Weird.
That's one of them.
Weird.
weird.
Let's paint our nails and end this show.
Weird.
What do you think?
Name another white kid on the Duke roster. Any one of them.
I couldn't name a single player on the Duke roster.
Isn't Knipple white as well?
What's his first name?
I don't know. He's the other freshman.
Probably Hayden or something.
Besides the center
John Smith.
Unfortunately, it's Con.
Con Knipple.
Yeah, Con Knipple.
Yeah, so
Right, with a K.
It's a double K,
With a
isn't
K.
it? Weird.
Oh, weird.
Weird.
Actually, it is with a K.
What's his middle name?
No.
Do we know?
No.
Do we know?
Campbell with a K.
Do we? Oh, weird. Never
No.
seen Campbell spelled with a K before.
There's two white
is
guys
that?
on the roster.
Why would you name your kid Campbell with a K?
You spell Connor with a K?
No, I don't. I spell it right, actually.
Connor Campbell.
Weird.
His middle name is Kyle.
My therapist is going to work so much overtime.
That was good.
My PR team is already freaking the fuck out.
He's gonna be advocating for that Josh McRoberts statue any day now.
My God.
He's like, you know what? I think the Yankees title should count.
How long has this episode been?
It's been too long.
Man, that was the only time baseball really counted. Nah. Before they kept scorebooks. Nah.
I don't care that they didn't decide how many games they were going to play in the World Series until they started the series. I think they should count. No, seriously, go look back at like 1908. There's like 13 game World Series. You're like,
It's
wait,
insane.
what's happening here?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Honestly, baseball should probably only have 13 games anymore anyways.
All series.
Whole series. That's what I'm saying.
Honestly, 2020 was the best year for baseball. It was like 60 regular season games.
No,
Perfect.
no.
Let's go.
It can't be that short.
Jared, you just like the grind. I don't like the grind. You know how many more World Series the Royals would have if they didn't have to grind for
You
162?
can say that.
Probably not, if I'm being honest.
Vladimir Guerrero would have a fucking ring, if there wasn't a whole lockout and all that.
It's
we
true.
don't need to have it.
No, it's not true.
All right.
I don't think Guerrero was on the 94 Expos. He was later than that.
Yeah, he was later.
He was
But they were good. He was on a good Expos team.
It's like 96, 97.
I would say I think he was a rookie in 97.
Yeah, but they settled.
But there was no strike after that. Had nothing to do with the strike.
I have to look at my reference page.
I'm just
I
saying.
think I have a
There
bookmark.
was no strike for Guerrero because he hit it off the ground, baby. Let's go.
Hey, good job. Good shit, Mike. Fuck, that was great.
Thank you. Baseball. I do like baseball.
Big baseball guy.
I'm not as big as Jared, but I do love baseball.
You don't spend
I'm
your
a
free
sicko because
period.
I'm a Royals fan.
You don't
So,
spend your free period on Baseball Reference.
no, I don't do that.
Just pouring through it.
No.
And Fangraphs, Mike.
You're like, do you guys remember Pat Neshek?
Yeah,
The
former Cardinal.
Also twin, lefty specialist, little
Hmm.
sidearm action.
Do I correct you and say he wasn't a lefty?
Oh, righty. You're right. He was a righty.
He had a weird delivery.
He was a rare one-off righty specialist.
He had like a shot put kind of delivery.
He did. It was awkward.
All right. We have gone off the rails for far too long. We're an hour and 45 in
Hey,
My God, this is one of the longest episodes
just
in a while.
real quick.
because Kyle's not on the P's and Q's today. I am, and I don't have any I have nowhere else to be.
No agenda, no
Nothing.
fucking, yeah.
It is what it is.
And it's funny because Mike's the dad and Kyle's not. Mike is supposed to be the one at home.
Yeah, but he's the fun dad.
He's the one.
I'm a cool dad.
I'm not like regular mom.
I'm not like a regular dad. Cool dad.
I'll just say just real quick, Nebraska baseball, disappointing series.
Figure it out.
Disappointing
Gotta
series.
figure it out.
Those are games that will hurt your fucking RPI because you play in the Big Ten.
Mhm.
You just got to find a way to win those kinds of series. That's all I'll say about that. Okay.
It's no different than losing to like UNO and Creighton, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
Which they'll do.
Might be a
anyway.
little better because, hey, Louisiana did destroy Texas in a regional last year. So it's
Yeah,
not as bad as
Louisiana's not going to go down as bad losses. It's that you need the quality wins. That's what it is
Yeah.
more than anything.
Right.
You need the quality wins because you're not going to get those in the Big Ten.
Right.
So they're not going to be bad losses. It's just you really got to stack up quality wins, much like Creighton has to in volleyball because their conference schedule sucks.
Mhm.
You have to rack up quality wins in the non-con and hope for the best. Kind of like Gonzaga used to do in basketball, but apparently we're just giving them the benefit of the doubt.
They're like,
despite the fact there's like, hey, we're just going to piss in the bed all season.
well, you know why? They had Tennessee on their schedule, and they're like, nah.
Get them out.
Hey, another one of Connor's favorites, Adam Morrison. Weird.
I didn't say that.
It's the mustache.
I don't.
It's just the mustache.
I'm a big Adam Morrison guy because we're type
Yeah.
1 diabetic buddies.
Hey,
Oh, there you go.
Adam Moore. I like all the type 1 diabetic athletes, unless they're problematic in a different way. I'm looking at you, Alexander Zverev, tennis star.
Thank you for not
Wow.
looking at me.
Wow.
He's got some domestic assault issues that I
okay.
don't want to address.
It wasn't from the diabetics part, right?
As far as I know.
Okay.
Although it can make you a little moody. Not that I'm excusing anything. Not that I'm excusing anything.
God damn it, we're gonna see a
We
news
have
story
heard
God
about
damn it.
Robbie said type 1
Miller North
diabetics.
Star, Robbie.
Heard at Sports Radio.
It's no excuse.
live.
No.
Oh,
And that's what we're going to get into next.
Hey,
Robbie,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
we need
we
to
go.
wrap up this show.
Yeah, eventually.
I
probably.
want you to utilize the Herd App platform and the MBNR platform
Yes, sir.
and talk about the changes that you have made on the radio show now and
the
where
morning show.
the morning show. There you go.
show.
And where is it going now?
Yeah, so it is all digital. We are on the Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube channels of both Herd At Sports and Hail Varsity every morning. Obviously, you can catch us on the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Same feed that if you were subscribed before. It's also on herdatsports.com. And we haven't got here yet. We're waiting for approval
app.
on the app. It'll be easier to listen in your car like you would a podcast, just straight to the Bluetooth. That is pending approval. It'll get through. It just takes a couple weeks with Apple Store and Google Play Store.
Can you comment on the app or is it just a audio version of the show?
I believe it's just an audio version. It's
Okay.
going to be very much like a tune in or something.
Oh, okay.
It's basically replacing that function for people that enjoyed listening to the show that way. If you don't want to have it playing on a video, just have it in the background or whatever. But the main reason, and I'll get into the nuts and bolts of this a little bit. The main reason is we had an agreement with some radio stations, both here in Omaha, Lincoln, and in central Nebraska, that basically they would simulcast our show and they could sell whatever they wanted in the commercial breaks. And then we got to sell whatever was in the show. Well, we got to the point listener wise and viewer wise that the giving away the commercial breaks no longer made sense financially. And so we brought everything in house so we could own our inventory. And so we do, not to brag, about 1 million impressions a month between live streaming, podcasts, and social media clip outs. About 900 to 950,000 of those were digital anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So giving away the commercial break inventory did not make sense anymore. So moving forward, we just went, hey, we'll bring everything in house. We'll meet everybody where they're at. And now we don't have to, I'm sure people have heard, hey, like we're doing an interview with Sam McEwen or Tim Verghese or whoever, and it gets cut off as we're going to break because we have those.
That is annoying.
It was super annoying. It was annoying
Yes.
for us too, because we had these hard radio outs. Those are gone. The format of the show is much more fluid now. Gives me and DB some space to be goofy and, talk to Mike on the comments and take phone calls from people that drop like 12 F-bombs in a 3-minute phone call.
We did have a conversation about that yesterday.
Yes, we did.
So that's the main reason. It's a financial reason and just we're trying to meet people where they're at with a better version of the product.
I want to be the first to welcome you to the podcast space because now you're just a daily podcast. So,
I am. I'm a daily podcaster.
You are no different than what what we're doing right here once a week.
You're welcome.
I mean, you guys need to crank it up to 5 times a week.
No, I can't do that. If Herdat wants to give me a salary,
give us fucking money.
yeah, sure.
I do not.
But the good news
Cheap
is
bastard.
with the switch,
Yeah.
going from the radio to this live stream podcast,
All digital,
format,
baby.
is the content's not changing, right?
No,
It's the same show,
just a
just
little more
different way to
unfiltered.
access. Yeah.
A little more unfiltered. So that's, I wouldn't say it's changing. It's we're taking some of the guardrails off a little bit, which could be good, could be bad. We'll see.
Depends how often solder is on, besides on Friday.
Depending how you feel about how this appearance went, that might give you some indication whether you like the guardrails or not. But largely the same product, just meeting people where they're at. We're giving to them in largely the same format most people already consumed it in.
Yeah.
But just making it a little more available through the app so that we can kind of meet that need for people in the car or whatever. But it's not a huge change, honestly, for most people. Like I said, 95% of our audience, they're going to get it the same way they always have. But it is we're trying to grow that presence in the digital space.
The very
Very
first episode that I hear of you guys after you made the switch.
Mhm.
Mike Sauter, how you doing today? I'm fucking great. fuck. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So Mike's like the kid We love Mike. We love Mike
Oh, yeah.
Sauter. Great.
He's been on our show.
Great
Yeah.
guy, hard worker, best in the biz for covering high school sports. Does a great job with Nebraska basketball, Creighton basketball, everything, right? He's like the kid where their parents are like, you can say a naughty word in the car, or you can say a naughty word when you stub your toe. He will go out of his way to stub his toe so that he can say naughty words.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's Mike. That's just who he is as a person.
And Verzal did the same thing.
Yeah, Verz comes by it a little more honestly.
Hey guys,
You know.
is this on the radio?
He's like, is this the first digital one?
Is it? I just want to check.
You got to make sure.
All right. Let me get on a DB scan right now.
Let's be honest. None of us. Well, I'll give Ravi a break here. None of us are innocent. We are all saying fuck every.
Are you
episode.
fucking kidding me?
Yeah. None of us are innocent. Let's not
Okay.
talk shit. Where like
I like to say we cater our episodes depending on the guests that we have.
Sure.
So like DB talks about it. Like when we had Cootie on, we didn't say a single cuss word.
Yeah.
Like we know
when to turn it on.
We know
and
when to turn it on and
He's a
turn it
little
off.
more professional,
Right.
You know,
Right. Like we can open up and have a little bit more fun depending on the guests that we have.
Yeah.
And not saying that we did not have a great time with Cootie, because we did. We had a great time with her. She had some really cool insight.
Yeah, Jess is great.
Yes. But
It's a different interview than Sauter.
We can, yes. When Sauter comes on our show, it's very similar.
We're gonna let it fly.
Right. And he's coming on relatively soon because he is upset that we haven't invited him back. So
he's a
little
mad, is he?
like that's the cool space.
He's
about-
the angry little elf, huh?
that is the cool part about a digital space is you can
You have
tailor
the
your
freedom.
conversations. You have more freedom. And yes, I mean that Herd Out Sports is a growing brand and they're growing very fast. So I think that could help you guys take the next step anyways, is maybe having less guardrails.
Well, and you look at the places that have gotten really big recently, whether it's like McAfee or you want to see all the stuff that like Bill Simmons has done with The Ringer and all those podcasts. Like none of those people have a terrestrial radio presence. Now, some people came in and like bought them to put them on TV.
Right. And so they have to shut it off for a little bit. But yeah.
But even, look at McAfee. ESPN made all the concessions for McAfee.
They have the
Like,
running banner on the bottom.
Yeah, like they're allowed to swear on there. Nobody else is allowed to. Like ESPN basically like bent the knee to McAfee to get him on their network because of the presence he had built up digitally. Now,
Yes.
if ESPN would like to come bend the knee at some point, I'll listen. But
twist my
until then,
we've said the same.
we're in a common space here.
Yeah.
But until then, we're gonna grow the brand digitally and have, like you said, kind of the freedom to be a little bit more fluid the way we want to be.
Mike, the thing that we do the best, and Connor, hashtag code switching. We know.
Yeah.
We know.
We're pretty good about it.
Yeah.
We know.
We are.
what's-
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, even when we do Cornhusker counseling, like Sasha's like, hey, you're on the Herd App brand. No cussing, no this, no that.
She says lock in,
Not-
and what do?
We lock in. we can
Yeah,
turn
like
it on
when
and off
Jared
as
and I
fast as we
did a
want.
post game together. There was no cuss.
Oh, see, you guys are the only one that's ever had a problem.
I've heard about that one.
You can't say GDs.
Well, look, it was
Well,
a goddamn ugly loss. What do you want from us?
Listen, we learned. We learned. We grew. No, Jared's done a couple full shows and didn't
Yeah.
cuss. You know,
Jared
It was
can turn it
really
off.
hard.
Believe it or not,
right there.
Believe it or not, you cannot cuss as an educator as much as you want to.
It's true.
You can't cuss as an
I
educator.
have that conversation with my kids
Even-
all the time.
Even
I go,
my job.
I go,
I can't do it.
lock it in.
Yeah.
around you
Lock
guys.
it in.
I don't say any fucking cuss words. But when I go,
when we were doing
When I'm around you guys, I don't swear. I don't drink.
yeah. Well, he didn't say he didn't drink.
Just
But-
around them.
when we were doing counseling, I swear to God, I was always terrified that Sasha was just like sitting behind the wall with a knife.
Just
And
waiting.
that's
Oh,
what
no.
kept me away.
She never even showed up. It was great.
No,
No, but she
it was
would
the
cut
fear
you.
of her. Yeah,
Oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
If there's anybody at Herd Out Sports that will cut you,
Yeah.
it is Sasha.
yeah.
Yes.
I
And
love
rightfully so.
Sasha, but I fear her more than I love her.
I think that's I don't know if more, but I think everyone fears her as much as they love her.
yeah,
the
Yeah.
mark,
she terrifies me.
the mark.
She's a great person.
Oh, she's terrific.
Yeah, but
She's never
I do
done
fear
anything
her.
that I should fear her, but there is just something where I'm like, yeah, like I think I've got a healthy, like fear of God.
Yeah, no, she definitely like provides that aura.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
That's the mark of a good leader.
I agree. I also think, it's very much the Michael Scott. I want them to be afraid of how much they love me.
yeah.
You know?
No, that is Sasha.
I think that's I was just trying to imagine what Connor code switching as a Duke fan looks like. You know,
Yeah.
like code switching. You know, because like JJ's a little more urban than Kyle Filipowski. You know,
It's so white. Oh my God.
you know,
I don't like this. I'm gonna have to answer for like half of the show.
and you know, like Bobby Hurley's a little more like East Coast, and you've got
There's like 10% of Duke players that are white. This is like Nebraska's more white than Duke.
I'm just saying, even Trajan Langdon was from Alaska.
Okay,
That's the whitest state there is.
That's crazy.
Nebraska is whiter than Duke's team is. If anything,
It's weird that you've taken inventory.
God damn it! I don't like this.
All right.
He's like, how many?
Which surprises me why you're not a bigger Nebrasketball fan than you are. Anyway,
He's like, you know, they've really started to endear themselves to me.
even though they lose, I actually like.
Well, I will say the team they
God
lost
damn
to yesterday.
Yeah.
Also, he'd probably be a big fan. I'm just
I
saying.
root for Nebraska.
But Michigan maybe has more exciting whites.
Interesting whites.
I can feel myself losing Twitter followers right now.
I think I'm actually a little surprised he doesn't like Creighton this year. I'm a little surprised.
I hate
Big Stephen Ashworth, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Isaac Trout, Mason Miller,
Holy
Jackson McAndrew, Fedor Zugic, Ty Davis.
Okay, Fedor.
Oh
come
my
on.
Lord.
He doesn't count.
I hate
Oh,
this.
Europeans don't count?
Yeah, no.
Well, so Burkay doesn't count?
Well, no, that's why he doesn't like Nebraska.
Oh, fair.
What
Yeah.
the?
He's actually Eastern European.
Yeah,
no.
don't like him.
He's from the Borat region.
What my? Oh God. Connor.
All right, are we at 2 hours?
Yeah, we are. All right, let's
Poor Connor.
let's wrap this thing up, guys.
Guy.
This
Jared,
is
do the
me.
sign up.
All right. I just feel sorry for him.
I know.
Thank you.
That's a joke. Connor is not racist.
Don't wink at the camera.
Hey,
I'm not racist.
Connor is not racist.
Don't do that either.
it's like Robbie's shirt is not black.
Is that
That could
Mike
be a-
deflating or Robbie?
No,
I can't tell.
I feel like that should be a thing between them to figure out.
Did they
don't
deflate
know.
at the same time?
I'm-
Welcome to the show, baby.
This is not my place
Jesus.
to.
Welcome. We're 2 hours in.
We're 2 hours in, and Connor with the K says it's time to
No,
go.
not Connor.
We're 218 episodes in, and finally someone else deflated besides me. So joke's on you.
I learned from the best in the business, Nicholas Allen Baugh.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
For some
I
reason,
love Nicholas Hallenbaugh.
no. See, we just keep going with that.
No,
Yeah.
no. All right,
All right. Hey,
sign us off.
Let's sign off.
Sign us off.
Jesus.
That's actually Connor's favorite Kansas guard ever, Nicholas Allen Baugh. Him and Kirk Heinrich, big fan.
Big Hunter Dickinson guy. Why? Okay,
Loves Nick Collison. Big Scotty Pollard guy, actually.
Scott with one T.
Christian Brown.
I don't know why you're not an Iowa fan.
He hates Wayne Simeon for some
Can
reason.
we
Why?
sign off?
Why
I
do you
hate
hate
this.
Wayne Simeon? All right,
Mario Chalmers never did it for him.
Go follow us.
Danny Manning was ass.
Why are we continuing?
Overrated.
They're still
Honestly,
talking.
overrated. You know who he
Okay.
loves though? Josh Dix.
I work with his uncle.
I'm gonna get canceled for shit I never said.
Do we just keep naming?
No,
No.
Okay.
more.
Hey, go follow us. Hey, you want more of this shit? Go follow us. NBNR podcast on all platforms. Literally think of a social media platform. We are there. It's the same handle. We make it so easy for you.
They do. Make
What's
it
your
so easy.
excuse?
They make it so easy.
Go follow us.
Also heard at Sports Live every weekday morning, 7 to 10 a.m.
Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna get, we were gonna get you there, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, we've got a plug for you
Hey,
too. Don't
shameless
worry.
plugs over there. It's fine.
We're gonna get there.
All right.
Okay. I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
My
Connor
Delaware.
Connor Cavillac's not racist.
Ravi Lula.
Hey, Kyle Byers would also like to say hello.
No, I don't think he wants any part of this episode.
No.
You notice he didn't comment after that already. He distanced himself pretty aggressively.
And a
from
smart
this
man
pod.
to do so.
We literally just had a comment that said, "You guys are still going. I can't wait to catch up this week."
I hope you don't.
And this was Connor's last pod.
Oh, okay. No. Okay, done. Done.
Jared,
As always.
can I do the sign off?
Okay.
As always, win 2 more.
In GBR. Love it.
Oh.
2 more.